Welcome all to the ozfortress 6's Autumn 2025. I'm here with Tal. This is the grand final.
It sure is.
Exciting stuff here. We have Witness Gaming and BLG.
Yep, and most importantly, we got Kev on the analyst desk. Kevin, how you going, Ghost?
Good. Last minute switch up. We got Wheels jumping in, so I don't mind. But obviously, we've got all the information, and yeah, I think we're gonna have a good grand final tonight. And obviously, this is the first time, I guess, that we will see. So second time we'll see Witness Gaming with a stand-in, actually.
Yeah, that's true. It's been a long time since the dominant force coming into this grand final is relying on a Merc, but we do have Paulson on the combo scouts. The old man himself, Wills.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be very interesting. If you would have told me, that it was Cookie, I would have said BLG stands no chance tonight. But now that they don't have their core roster and Paulson being a little bit old and decrepit, it actually might be closer than some people anticipate. But obviously, I'll just quickly go through the roster for Witness Gaming. So obviously, Silvo, Paulson, and then Down and Connor on the Soldiers, Enrith Demo, and Lau Medic.
They've been a pretty dominant force this season indeed. And on BLG, we've got Dork, Trev, Tachyon, Robor, also known as Sheep, Daz, and Atten. Kevin, what do you think about this BLG roster?
I mean, look, the way they've been playing throughout the season, like these two teams are you're basically, seed 1, seed 2, obviously, with the game being seed 1, BLG seed 2, but both teams have pretty much a flawless record. Obviously, Witness Gaming without dropping a single map throughout the season, obviously, and then BLG obviously losing to Witness Gaming. But no, I think we're going to have a pretty close game, definitely, with obviously Paulson filling in for Cookie on the combo scout. It'll be interesting to see how they do, but I think BLG, with the way they're playing and how chaotic it can get as well, I can see a little bit of scrappiness and a little bit of a chaotic game coming up. But speaking about teams, we do have the bracket on the screen.
Yeah, we got a little peek into these two teams as they've made their way through the bracket in this playoff stage. Witness Gaming not dropping a single map, and BLG likewise experiencing quite a smooth run, not facing off against Witness yet. But of course, in this grand final, Witness, they're pretty unavoidable.
Yeah, it's interesting, especially with the bracket and throughout the season. I would say that BLG has kind of been underestimated a little bit. We went to this season anticipating that it would be that I forget the name of it, Struck Minds versus Witness, but BLG has really proven this season that they are definitely contenders for a finals team. So I think people will be underestimating how well or how they're going to play tonight. I think it'll be closer than we anticipate.
I'm expecting we're in for a long run.
Yeah.
I'm expecting we're here for a while.
They play almost like a pug stack team. It's a very chaotic team. DM, just go and shoot, go kill, and they play, I feel like, very, very fast pace as well. Like they can sort of just overwhelm an enemy or just play at their sort of pace. But speaking about the game as well, we do have a video graphic now on your screen, just at the bottom there. We do have the map picks and bans coming out, and kind of sort of what we expected. Me and Tal were looking at it before this went live. It's a pretty standard maps and sort of what we expect for this game, to be honest. Nothing too surprising. I guess one thing worth to note is the Reckner ban is both these teams sort of permaban. So it's almost identical to the maps they don't want to play and sort of thing. And then when you look at the final ban being clear cut for Witness Gaming, on the records of Scrimwise, they haven't played it at all, so there's no actual record. But again, what me and Tal discussed was I think they just don't want to play the map sort of thing and just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Go on, Wills.
It's in terms of these picks here. The way I see it is that the 5CP is Witness Gaming's most dominant format for sure.
Well, do you have a final prediction, Ghost, as we are getting into this first map?
Obviously, with a stand-in, I'm still going to go Witness Gaming, but probably a 4-2 scoreline.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. As we are getting into things here, Ghost will be there for us on the analyst panel as we need him. As we're watching down on this first mid, he's going to take quite a safe bomb. And that's going to be Robor going immediately down to the sticks of Enrith, Wills.
Yeah, Robot, big kill there for the side of Witness Gaming. Last still alive up on that side. Tachyon has gone up, dropped down. Thankfully, they're aware of it, but he will get 2 for it. Unfortunately, they will not be able to help Tachyon, and Lau will live on this mid. But closer than I expected, and like I said, I would say it's around that 4-2 margin. We'll see.
I 100% agree. We saw like a mid from BLG there that kind of came in 2 phases. We had that early initiation by Robor there trying to get that early pick onto Enrith, and when it didn't work out, they sort of had to rely on Tachyon to make some sort of salvage play. Unfortunately, didn't look like the coordination was all there, especially the early disadvantage, but it was nice to see the attempt anyway, as Paulson looks like he's ready to courier his team potentially through River here. Got some traps up on the wall there.
It does look like they're going to try and send some sort of sack down. We'll end up going in water just to, create a bit of chaos as well. Like, they need to worry about this player, especially with the combo spamming and stuff like that. But Paulson, he's kind of just chilling back. They're kind of letting Down just do his thing. And he is going to peek and spam a little bit. Oh, and also Silvo under the point as well. A lot of pressure. They will get the pick. But Silvo will be able to get out and get arrowed.
Trading soldiers there, they send Trev in to try and deal with Silvo, and Silvo is unfortunately going to fall. But with 2 down on the side of BLG, Witness Gaming, they might not face that much pressure here, as Connor, he's going to make a little bit of a play here, doing a lot of damage onto Daz, going to get dropped down low, requiring an arrow. Connor and Enrith are both going to fall. Robor is going to jump in, see if he can take some sort of vengeance upon the Witness Gaming players, and a trade is eventually going to come out. Now, Witness Gaming, they're down 2 players in this post-tuber here, but maybe Paulson can try and pull something off. Not wanting to give up too much space. Dork is actually going to go down. That's going to open up quite an opportunity for Witness Gaming, maybe to push their advantage through River here. Paulson, he's begging and pleading. He's getting through that choke there, and with Silvo down on the ground, they're doing so much damage to these players. With Down on the ground, there's not much BLG can do.
Honestly, not what I expected there. Losing Liam up in River creates such a big opening for them to kind of pressure cook into last, and Paulson knew that exactly and ran straight to the point. Was able to get a lot of cap time, didn't even die, and his team collapsed on the combo, able to get that cap. But really well played by Paulson. So we'll have to see it. Sheep coming in on choke, will get behind, does take a bit of damage, so they're going to have to worry about him, but not just quite yet. But the collapse will come up, they are able to get Enrith and Down. Last alive and choke, Trev trying to get something, but will get picked up. Robor behind, can he get the backshot bomb? He is spotted, he gets 1 rocket, and he will kill the soldier, but unfortunately Lau is alive with his scout Silvo, who will clean up Daz.
Yeah, looking a little bit uncomfortable for Lau on that mid. Unfortunately, Adden is to go down, so that's going to leave Witness Gaming with quite a significant Uber advantage here. Hopefully, once they get some players, they can bully out second for free, and we might be looking at a last situation with BLG not quite ready to put up much of defense on second, being a little bit far back in River. They're gonna make their exit. It's gonna be more or less a last play. Silvo, he's gonna take the Uber in. Atten looks like he's caught. He's down on 18. Silvo does clean him up, and Enrith's gonna bring down Robor on the other side of things. That's gonna force Tachyon to make some sort of play to reconcile these differences, and I don't know, it's not looking good for BLG here. Their players are dropped down really weak with the heal differential. It's going to allow Witness Gaming to just take one after another, and before long, sitting on the point, all players on BLG dead, and that's going to be the second round going the way of Witness Gaming, really showing why this first pick, they felt confident.
Yeah, definitely. Yet again, just so fast-paced. Silvo was already in, Atten had no idea, and was just dead. They might have actually gotten that Uber as well. They were healing well, but unfortunately losing your medic there is just a recipe for disaster. But we're on to another mid. Can BLG turn it around? A double bomb from Tachyon and Sheep into the elbow, but Lau's already up. Can they try and get anything? They are able to create a lot of space for their team, and Lau will go down actually, so it's just Silvo alive, and he will eventually get picked up by Daz. So actually, a big turnaround for BLG.
Yeah, that was absolutely devastating there. Dork was able to follow up on those sacks on behalf of Robor and Tachyon, and I mean, Witness Gaming, I don't know, just seemed like they didn't really stand a chance. BLG taking so much early momentum in that mid fight, and there's not much they could do to stop them. They weren't quite in position to deal with those bombing soldiers. Enrith getting taken out, certainly not doing them much of a benefit. As BLG, now it's their turn to take maybe an Uber advantage push into last.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of great space created by those bombs. I thought they'd get cleaned up, almost immediately, but they didn't. Now, like you said, they have that a lot of ad. Well, actually, only 40, so they need to get going. They do use through the shutter instead of trying to milk. The gun's on the right. They'll eventually get the gun, and it looks like Dork is going to try and play point with Trev. And they are getting a lot of cap time, but down comes out a secret, and the bomb as well from Connor will clean up both the scouts. Lau will die in the array of the last fight, but their whole team will basically wipe, except for Atten, who was able to get out, thankfully.
Yep, he sure is running with his tail between his legs. Witness Gaming, they're going to push out, get some cap time on second, waiting for Lau to respawn. Paulson's wise enough to go back, get their star player, and they're going to have more or less advantage here. It's not going to be much of a concern yet. Witness Gaming, they might be looking to dry fight. No, they're just chilling.
Yeah, BLG did have the worst of spawns there, but Witness Gaming decided to take it a bit more chill. They might actually think it's more ad than what it actually is. They know Atten left without healing, so, and it looks like Paulson is grinding, so there is a possibility for this Uber to come out, but it'll take a lot of effort and coordination to try and make this work, but we'll have to see. I think they're just going to opt to chill on the top of the point here rather than take the Uber.
Yeah, it looks like both teams have the perception that they don't have advantage here, and they are in fact waiting for the other team to push. But as both teams realize the Ubers have evened out, the red soldiers on BLG, they're going to look quite close to choke here. See if they can push something out. Won't be too long until they decide to go big door, I imagine, but yeah, just seem to be looking on both sides of choke here, waiting for a sign of weakness here.
Yeah, interestingly, Daz is just holding big door by himself. No, okay, the combo has rotated eventually, and if it's a nice pipe, and Sheep is straight in, a good rocket onto Silvo, but will not be able to clean him up, and will eventually crater in lower.
Wow,
So a really
Silvo's
nice try.
pistol, just insane there, insane tracking, bringing down Sheep. It's not very comforting if you BLG, I guess, hitting a great rocket onto Silvo and not getting anything for it.
Yeah, look, that jump was very impressive as well. I was surprised that he didn't get any sort of kill out of it, but it is only the one death, so it's kind of hard for Witness Gaming to actually push out, I suppose, with that one kill. So we're just going to be able to, or BLG is going to be able to recook their sacks here. Silver close big door. He's trying to pressure quite a bit. And Sheep on the sniper as well, actually, in big door, doing what he does best, aimbotting. So we'll have to see if he can hit a couple of shots.
Yeah, he's taking a wider and wider angle here, but Witness Gaming, they're already pressing onto mid. Down, gonna go quite deep, gonna bring down Tachyon before trading out, and now Connor, it's his turn to die sitting on the ground. It's only Tachyon they get, but they lose both soldiers for it. That's gonna allow BLG to maybe put some pressure in choke here as Daz, he's gonna try to collapse behind them as Trev's peeking through big door, and I don't know, it's looking a little awkward for Witness. They sort of need to keep close to combo. Enrith, he's gonna bring down Dork, and Trev's also gonna fall. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication there, but Enrith hitting some good damage, and Sheep hitting a great shot onto Lau. That's going to be instant Uber advantage that's going to be used on the side of BLG, and they're going to push all the way. Oh, never mind. They are just going to retreat with it. They're back on second because Dilvo putting some pressure behind them. They do go back, decide to clean him out, and going to see some slight advantage for BLG again. Robot picking up another great shot onto down. Gonna see if they can push through choke and take mid for free. Only 3 players alive on the side of Witness.
Yeah, Connor behind will get cleaned up as well by Tachyon, so not only hitting that nice shot onto down, but losing Connor as well means that you kind of open your team up to lose second here. And yeah, Witness is just going to give it up. I'm kind of surprised that they weren't able to capitalize off getting those 2 picks onto second. They sort of were a little bit uncoordinated, I guess, but it will mean 40% ad for BLG. We'll get sniper diffed by Silvo, though. So
on the hitmaker as well.
Yeah,
love that gun.
They're gonna have to do this with player disadvantage, so it'll have to be an absolutely exceptional Uber. Daz will lock out that right spawn. No kills quite yet. Soldiers bombing point. They haven't even got cap time. It's looking grim. They need to do something. Silvo will go down to Trev. It opens them up for to continue this last push, and they will also kill Paulson, trying to block the point there. But they're going to get
Paulson going down. Oh, it's not good. Tachyon, he's on top of Lau. He brings down Lau, and only 3 players alive. He gets a spoon onto Enrith, and it's only Connor alive. They sit on point, and they've got it. First round going their way. Damn.
Yeah. Wow. I that was looking that was looking grim to begin with. No kills, no point pressure, but able to eventually get some of those picks and kind of pick up Lau in the spawn, or trying to come out, trying to heal his team, trying to get that Uber, and he will die on the 95%.
Yeah, we saw Atten in chat just say, "I can't believe these guys are going to LAN," more or less. He used a word that I can't quite use here. Trev, he's going to bring down an early pick here, but I mean mid, it's basically almost over. We've got just Atten alive on 30% and Lau being couriered by 2 scouts here, making some ground in onto second, and they're going to go back, finish out the cap, wait for their players, and it's going to look like some significant advantage here for the side of Witness Gaming. Atten only now starting to heal people, trying to boost up his Uber again, but yeah, 50% ad.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world. There is a possibility they do get this Uber on last, especially kind of how slow the Witness Gaming combo is. So we could just be looking at a pressure cook into last. I don't think they're going to decide to take it.
Looks like Atten is getting his Uber here. Tachyon even feeling confident, spotting a little bit there, shooting off that trap, and yeah, Witness Gaming gonna let it stalemate out for a bit, like you said.
Yeah, they had some problems with these stalemates previously in the match, so we'll have to see if they can try and figure something out. But the bomb coming in will go straight onto Atten, gets 1 rocket, but not able to clean him up, and also Connor going down as well. So, a failed sack on the side of Witness Gaming. Does mean that BLG gets the opportunity to look to push up, but with Trev down, it's probably unlikely.
Yeah, I mean, they do get Trev there, right? So there's at least some fruits of their labor. They do get something there. It's going to slow down BLG, and it's just going to go back to last, allow them to wait for Connor and Down to rejoin them, get those buffs going again, and hopefully look for another play. Wouldn't be surprised if they opt for the water play instead. Silvo looking pretty antsy to jump across there. Daz sort of aware, taking those early pipes. And yeah, that's Silvo slipping into water. Should see something break out here, but with Connor going down, Silvo is forced to bring them back a little bit. Down's going to go down, and Silvo is caught in water. They know he's there too.
On the right, they're looking to try and pressure it. A rocket.
Oh, Tachyon! Oh my god, Tachyon almost bringing down Lau there. He snuck through lobby, and they just weren't looking. Silvo and Enrith, they weren't quite aware he was there, and that was almost devastating for Witness Gaming.
Yeah, losing your medic when you're trying to push it to last by a player that's just waddling through lobby is not the most ideal thing, but I suppose it is what happens when you try and do the triple sack. You have to be really careful of the other doors. But they're going to try a different option this time. They're on shutter, and they will be able to get the spam the gun from launch, Enrith. So we'll open... it actually opens Liam up to having these crits, and he's going to go up the top. And he's just waiting right there.
He's looking for it. Look at him. He's jumping around. They're down, sitting in water. He gets dropped down quite low. Tachyon's going to use that as an opportunity to push through. But Silvo, he's right there. Silvo is actually going to fall to Tachyon. Tachyon doing so much damage protecting this water area here. Despite the sticks that Enrith has laid down on point, like BLG aren't quite able to assist him. And they just accept their defeat here and fall back a little bit. Connor getting dropped down real low. It's going to influence their ability to keep that pressure up. And Dork, he's on that engineer, setting up a gun.
It looks like it might go down again to Enrith, spamming those pipes. It will, okay. And no crits this time as well. So maybe he'll decide to go heavy. But it looks like they're going to do something quick. They have a minute left. It might be Paulson's time to shine for a trade.
Silvo, he's just in. They're shooting Silvo on the ground. Silvo's going to go down. Trev, he's going to try and shoot down, who's made his way all the way into the corner, trying to get something out of Atten, but yeah, that's just like last-ditch approach from Witness Gaming. It's going to force them to back out quite early here. They're sitting with Paulson here on River, but as BLG try to push them out, Tachyon, he goes through Shutter, and I mean, Witness, they need to give up more space here. They're still waiting on players.
Enrith just killed Atten with a really well-placed sticky. And they looked like they were going to try and push out with that 3-player ad, but it was so deceptive. Enrith able to pick up Atten, and he drops. So now they have full ad into last. Down will get killed by Robor, thankfully, but him getting cleaned up as well means that it opens them up to continue with this last push, and Beige on top, able to actually shut them down. There's 22 seconds left, so it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to end up capping this point. They kind of beat that full Uber push, and they've only got 10 seconds now, so they have to try and make something work.
Yeah, looks like both teams might be cracking a little bit under pressure here. BLG trying to rush that push out of last, and Witness Gaming trying to capitalize on that advantage too quickly, and ultimately doesn't work out for either of them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think that when you have a minute left, there's no real need to put your team in danger where you drop like that to the demo when you're pushing out. But on top of it, when you get that full Uber ad, you can kind of like afford to take it a little bit slow, get buffs, like push in. There's no real rush. You still have 30 seconds. So,
and you can get that cap time, right? Like it's not like it ends straight away. As we're into this next mid, Robor, he's going to go high, end up fading. Both soldiers on the side of BLG are going to opt to fade, but their heals aren't looking too good. They're making a last-ditch play here. Tachyon and Dork are both going to fall, and meanwhile, Connor, he makes that wonderful bomb onto Atten. He's going to go down as well. Daz, he's stuck in elbow here. Doesn't have much health to his name, only on 33 HP. Down's going to jump through that window, bring him down, and that's going to be 5 alive on the side of Witness Gaming. They only lose Lau in the process, which will slow down their snowball into last, but I don't know. They seem to just throw the whole kitchen sink at Witness Gaming there once they realized that they weren't keeping up in heals, and I don't know, just a little bit awkward, Wills.
Yeah, I mean, it almost worked as well. At the end of the mid, like about 3 or 4 players on less than 50% health, so that could have gone basically either way, but thankfully, you know, Lau did die, so it will be the even Ubers, but the mental's got to be rough. You've just held a last for 4 minutes, and now you're probably gonna have to do it again. So
yeah,
let's see
especially for some of these BLG players that are probably used to pugs where this might not be much of a concern, and it looks like BLG, they're just holding off the pure aggression coming out from Witness. Witness electing to use this dry fight here. Roboy's going to land on top of Sheep, and Tachyon and Sheep, they need to get on top of point. They end up using the Uber, and Paulson, he's just going to kite it around. He's dancing on top of their heads here. Atten and Roboy, they do really need to be careful for the collapse coming out from Enrith and Paulson in just a second here, and yeah, Sheep's going to go hurtling into the air, and Witness fortunate enough to sit on point. Trev in chat said, nah.
Yeah, wow. Extremely well played by Enrith to, you know, spam all of his stickies. He knows that the point is so close to being capped. If he can just knock that soldier or that medic up into the air, 1 second of scout cap time will win you that round, and it's exactly what happened. So, well played by the side of Enrith and Paulson there. But onto the mid now. Connor going for a high bomb, straight back in, deep into the choke. Will do a lot of damage, but won't be able to get anything. However, the rest of his team will come over and clean up the rest of them. Atten alive, thankfully.
They're chasing.
Maybe not.
Oh, Lau's actually going to bring down Atten. Dork going to bring down Silvo in return, though. Paulson requiring his pistol to take down the rest of Dork, and ooh, like you could tell as soon as they started chasing Atten and Dork there that it wasn't going to look too good. You know when Witness Gaming forfeits the capture of the rest of that point that it's BLG, they're being hunted down here.
Yeah, absolutely. And now they have this full Uber push into last. Trev is able to partially set up a gun. Whether he has... Oh, he doesn't have enough time to get us level 3, so... they
Daz just eaten alive there in lobby. Unfortunately, we didn't get out on cam, but he was walking through Launchpad and he just got deleted. And that's going to allow Witness Gaming basically to go into last for free. Sheep, he's going to do his best to draw eyes here, fading on top of point, and then... Yeah, pretty unfortunate there, Wills.
Well, I mean, I can't believe Daz died in lobby there. I suppose he's trying to, you know, he probably doesn't want to be holding last again, so he's kind of just doing what BLG players do and try and make some magic happen. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but well, maybe not the last mid, but we'll have to see. They did convert a mid round into a win, so if they can figure that out again, then maybe they're onto something. And
Sheepy's going to go fast. He's going to bring down Lau. Connor and Down are both going to go down. That's going to allow BLG to sort of play a little bit more passive here, deathballing around their med, and it's only Enrith alive on 80 HP. He's down on the ground, and Trev, he's going to be the one to bring him down. Daz falling down so low at the end of that fight. And, yeah, like you were saying, seems like maybe they've worked it out.
There is, yeah, look, that just the aggression straight into elbow. I kind of like it. They didn't quite do the exact same bomb last mid, so it was kind of keeping Lau on his toes, and he just wasn't ready for it. There was a little bit of beef on Sheep. He probably shouldn't have killed Lau, but he would have been 1 health anyway. So, regardless, a good bomb. And now they have this full ad. Can they convert like last time? We'll have to see. They're coming through River. and they will pop the Uber straight onto Liam, trying to kill that player secret. Oh, but he just decides not to. There's actually 2 in there. He's going to be able to maybe pick up down. He does eventually, but they trade 2 players for it.
Yeah, it's sort of rough here for BLG. They sort of need to wait a second to get heals back in. That said, Tachyon, he's going to draw the attention of the heavy. He's going to get brought down, but Silver going down, that's going to allow them an opportunity to put a little point pressure. That's going to force out the Uber of Witness Gaming, and BLG, that pretty much get exactly what they want out of that situation, all things considered.
Yeah, I mean, that was basically the best case scenario after they'd used the Uber. It was looking very grim. Atten survived. And they will have a little bit of ad to push in. It's only 25% though, so it's going to have to be a very textbook last push into Gullywash here.
Yeah, let's see if they can pull it off, or whether they'll just wait it out. They are getting Uber now. They're sending sheep into water as well as their scout. Witness are well aware. Dork, he's going to get Ubered in. Daz, he's going to land on top of the sentry gun, and now they're stuck in spawn. Connor, he arrives just in time to try and get the Witness players off of point, but look at that cap time, Wills. There's barely anything in it. They're only up Silvo, Enrith, and Lau, and that's going to allow BLG to push their players straight back in. Tachyon, he's going to bring down Lau before going down in return. All of a sudden, it's Dork and Atten. Let's see if they can do this.
Yeah, Enrith 1 HP.
Oh, they do finish it.
That was very well played by Dork to go back in there. He could have decided, you know, another 40 ad, let's try again, but no. Had the ego, went in, able to get the 2 kills, and just finishes off the cap before those spawners come in and absolutely destroy him. So,
yeah,
4-2.
I mean, it would have been a much more convincing push if Connor wasn't able to get onto that point at the very last second, just stalling it out. Got to hand it to Connor there for giving his team a bit of a chance. BLG going into this second mid, they're already looking a little bit weak. Lau does get brought down to 90 HP though. That's going to give him a chance. Down! It's a great rocket onto that soldier. Connor's going to go down, but that's going to be, looks like a mid win for Witness Gaming. They're just throwing all their players they can after Atten goes down. And Daz trying to exit out a big door. He gets bombed by down.
Another convincing mid by Witness. Yeah, I don't know. I thought they would have had it figured it out, but I guess when you're at this level, you sort of are able to adapt very well to all sorts of different mids. So now, BLG on the back foot. Daz deciding to go back into launch. Will he feed again? Maybe he will. He's behind them. Will he get the force? He doesn't even get the force and he dies, but down will die for it. So he doesn't even play a trade, but no demo on last means your scout can play the point, and that's exactly what Paulson is doing. The bomb comes out early, but look at all the cap time, and the flash is so good, but Connor will die before the Uber ends, along with Silvo. It looks like BLG is going to hold this. Enrith dying in main. Lau might be able to get out, but a nice little jump from Tachyon will clean him up instantly.
Paulson playing that cap time at the end of that fight, that could have gone so poorly. Down, he's going to pull out the revolver for some reason. Tachyon ends up bringing him down. And
yeah, that was an interesting play by Down.
Interesting. There was the opportunity to go baby door there, maybe pressure last, but maybe he just thought it was a little bit too late for that sort of play, and it's going to allow BLG to take mid here without the concern of a player being behind, and yeah, we might even see a second being bullied for free here, potentially.
They're in a decent position here with that 40 out. They're going to be careful of the traps, but they've spotted it. Connor dies as well to Trevin Tachyon and choke. Down
Silvo.
with the direct hit through spawn will kill
gets Tachyon. They got the direct hit and the sniper in this forward spawn. They're still sitting in there. Down. He's trying to make a little bit of space. Silvo, is he going to go for it?
Yeah, he does peek it. Won't get anything though.
Baiting Daz a little bit. He does end up back spawning, and it's going to be even Ubers. Witness Gaming doing what they do best, which is slowing down the aggression of these BLG players with their various antics. Tachyon, he's going to go down on launchpad to Connor, taking that full buff for an unsuspecting Tachyon, not quite able to resist the heals being outputted by Witness Gaming there, taking a pretty easy 1v1, and BLG, they're on the back foot. However, bring down Enrith with that keenly placed sticky trap. Yeah,
that really opens up BLG to do a lot of different things on last year for the sack. They can play point, they can just immediately trade, they can double bomb, whatever they decide to do. But Enrith is probably going to actually spawn pretty soon.
We had Dork on the sniper there, he just missed. A potential body shot there onto Lau, getting too close for comfort, but Winners Gaming, they are aware that he's on the sniper now. Tachyon even going to bring down Silvo, who was trying to chase Dork out of main there. Pretty heads-up play from Tachyon to make sure he's there to back up and bodyguard Dork. Dork's going to take a great shot onto Lau. He's actually going to bring down Lau through the pipes. Absolutely nuts. BLG, they're going to use the Uber in return. They're going to see what they can do here, bringing down Connor and down in lobby. But they're already in onto last.
Yeah, and Paulson trying to block the point will eventually go down, and it's just Enrith alive. With Spoon to finish it off, add insult to injury, and they will end up getting that round. What a shot from Liam.
Crazy
straight to the
shot.
pipes. That's certified BLG plays right there. That's what you expect to see from those guys. And now, I mean, it's 4-3. It's not out of the realm of possibilities to win this game. It is the Banny config, so they have to either win 2 on the trot or Witness has to win the 1, but we're going straight to the mid.
Yeah, Daz rolling out somewhat weaker on this mid, but with the double bomb coming from Sheep and Tachyon, they will bring down Lau. It could be a good start to the mid fight. However, but with Atten going down, I don't know, it's just Robor and Trev against Enrith here. Enrith's on 80 health, but that's more than Robor. It's gonna scare him away, and Trev's just gonna be capping.
Oh,
Enrith
is trying to get a snipe. He is unable to get Sheep there, and he will decide to leave. He almost could have won that if he killed Sheep. Then Trev's on 90 health, 1 pipe, and he's dead. But will they offer the refight? Enrith seems like he's just going to trap up Choke and decide to stalemate it out, as it is even Ubers.
Yeah, any other demo man, and I wouldn't expect it. But you're right, Enrith, he's feeling himself on this map.
Yeah, no, Gullywash is... When I think of, like, who dominates the most on what map, like, I always just think Enrith Gullywash. Like,
yeah, it is so, like, textbook. Yeah, I totally expected him to walk back in there, but looks like it is stalemating out. Ubers, there's not much in it here. Lau deciding to be back river, standing on the platform here, respecting the fact that BLG, I mean, they've got a potential map to lose here if they don't make some plays. It has gone into Banny time, Wills.
Yeah, definitely. So they can take as much time as they want, really. There's no rush to anything here. They can be as methodical as they want. They have 3 minutes to try and cook some sacks here. Daz coming through big door. They are able to get the big door so Tachyon can leak into lobby, and that creates a lot of pressure on the combo. Oh, Robo coming in for the bomb, and Tachyon trying to spam, but they won't get anything. And now, look, Silver's already proactive. They lost one, and he's already through Choke. They're creating so much space. The bomb from Tachyon will slow them down a little bit, but they're already through. They're just flooding in, and the players on BLG are so weak.
Connor! He actually gets the force out. He does so much damage in that sack, getting dorks down so low. That's going to allow Witness Gaming to maybe edge some space out. They bring down Daz, well-placed stickies from Enrith, and yeah, despite being down Connor, they do have full Uberad. BLG, they have to respect it. Atten, he's forced to climb here. It's not looking too good here. They might pounce, and they definitely do. Silvo brings down Atten, and they're going to chase out Dork. Well-placed sticky again from Enrith. We see an incoming Tachyon gets deleted, but Daz actually killed Enrith there.
Honestly, that bomb from Daz might actually slow down this last push. It kind of makes them question whether they can go or not, or if they just decide to play the even Ubers, the Uber ad. And
I'd definitely be questioning it in a situation like this. I think Witness is doing the same. I mean, they do have the Uber advantage. There's no harm in waiting for Enrith here. If they feel like their Uber advantage is adequate. Looks like that is going to be what they decide to do.
Yep. Unfortunately, also not grinding on the side of BLG. I mean, I think Atten possibly could have been close to Uber here, but they're just stuck on 50. He's not even healing anyone, so they're going to have to just pray and hope that they can hold this last push. Enrith in trying to lock out the spawn door. Doesn't quite kill Tachyon. Robo bombing shot launch will not get anything either. Tachyon scrounging to bomb the combo. Big damage will pick up Paulson.
Oh, Daz, he's on top of them. Tachyon, he brings down Enrith, the market gardener, and Down's also going to go down. They only lose Daz there somehow, Wills. They only lose Daz. They're even going to send Tachyon into lobby, takes up that pack, and Silvo dies for it. Oh, it's only Lau. It's getting run down. Ooh, Tachyon, he almost gets the marker garden onto Connor there. And they send Sheep down for Lau. Lau gets killed, and it's Daz and Dork trying to protect Atten here. Atten, get off that point. We can't cap it just yet. We only have got 3 players alive. Dork, He
a
gets
big
separated from Daz there. Very unfortunate.
A nice bomb from down. He was able to separate them. Yeah, and almost dying as well in the midst of that chaos there, getting spammed a lot. Oh, I think they chased, like they gave up 3 players to kill their medic, which just opened them up to the spawners being able to pressure. And look, Witness is already, they're peaking last despite the 70% disad. They aren't able to quite get any kills or any force, but I will leave BLG wondering, do we try and push out? There's 2 minutes left. Are we going to take the risk with the 50% ad? And I don't think they will. They're just going to decide. I mean, this is... BLG might be frightened here. This is not BLG fashion.
This is not BLG fashion at all. Daz has got the stickies on last. Yeah, this is not the Daz I know.
Yeah, they might be a little bit nervous about what the possible outcome of this game is, but I mean, realistically, it is the safer play. They've only got 1:30 to now cook these sacks, and as long as, you know, ad doesn't drop or get forced, the likelihood of them actually winning this last push isn't as high as you might expect, but down will go under.
Look at this level 3 placement here.
The combo is under the point.
He is sitting in water with them down. He's going to fall to the rockets of Robor and Tachyon there, standing on top there. Lau, he looks like he's stuck in last. Robor, he's getting the force out somehow in water. And it's really not looking good. Maybe a little bit of beef there, finishing off that kill onto Robor and Paulson. Stuck in water. Lau's already long gone. They use that Uber, they bring down Connor, and they're just not catchable in the slightest.
I mean, it could have gone worse than that. They could have, you know, Anne could have dropped there, and then they'd be in real trouble.
Okay, to be fair, they bring down Paulson and down. So, it could be worse. You're right. It could be worse.
They have that, both soldiers, or the scout and the soldier have that 10-second spawn wave. Probably not enough time to decide to push out. And it is a little bit of dis, but I don't think, you know, if Witness Gaming are able to convert 10% ad with 30 seconds left, then they deserve it. This would be exceptional if they can do this in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, we'll see whether they want to allow it to reset to last, but with 30 seconds left, they might be willing to risk it. Maybe let it go a little bit close here so they're not at risk of losing anything. Enrith is going to take the Uber in. He brings down Daz with a clean pipe sticky. That's going to open things up as Silvo brings down Sheep on the backside of that. Forces out the Uber from BLG. And despite being down and Paulson Witness, they're looking like they have the upper hand here. They've got a lot of space here on the right side. And despite Silvo going down really low, he's got that beam from Lau. They're going to get some cap time here. It's going to go really well. It's going to go to 5-3. That's the first map. Witness taking it. They played that fight so well, Wills.
I cannot believe that they were able to post up on the right there and then play point that easily. I mean, the bomb, Enrith going straight into 5 players, somehow able to pick up Daz as well, giving them that player ad for the fight. It's basically like really what they needed. That Uber, there is no way in hell that Uber goes well if you don't get any kills within the first few seconds. And they were able to do it. So exceptional by Witness there to be able to get the last push and not too far away from Ghost's prediction, but 5-3.
It was close.
Decided Witness Gaming.
Look,
Yeah, welcome back.
Some of the people got a bit inspired after the wonderful IEM Melbourne tournament. We had a few Zaiwu and Mondesi clips. A few people got inspired by doing some sniping. But, no, look, I think prediction was close, to be honest. 4-2, 5-3. But, yeah, like, one thing I do want to is BLG, like the points where you mentioned Daz was playing on their balcony position and just getting caught. Like, definitely a few mistakes or some interesting plays, put it that way. I do agree. No, but overall, I think Witness Gaming actually played really well, especially some of those pressure cooks, just literally sending it, Endriff just shooting his spam into the one corner where they see the combo, and then forcing their way in, so just muscling their way into last. But when you look at the overall performance from the players, like Endriff, the reason why it's this map is like the amount of damage he was doing, like despite the amount of damage and kills he was getting, that explains why sort of his map. But also BLG playing actually pretty quick, just trying to sort of neutralize Enrith. Enrith getting a few of the mids getting tagged low or dying definitely helped BLG out. But yeah, I guess overall Witness Gaming definitely just played a lot better and capitalized on the advantage despite Enrith getting taken out.
Yeah. Cleaner, TF2, 100%. We saw some pretty early great plays coming out of individual BLG players, but ultimately it's the coordination that matters, right? That you go for these flashy plays, if you don't execute them properly or if you don't get much from it, ultimately it's consistency that wins all. And I mean, gotta say with that log, nothing too much out of the usual there. We see the pretty standard demo men basically at the top, followed by the soldiers, followed by scouts, and then the two medics at the bottom. Like that's basically the Gullywash spread right there. Like there's nothing really out of the ordinary. I'm not sure whether those logs truly paint the picture of what we're able to watch here. I mean, I'll be really interested to see how BLG want to adapt going into product, because it's a very different game mode, a very different type of game that these players will be forced to play.
And product as well is sort of like how I think BLG, it's definitely one of their stronger maps, and especially when a Witness Gaming doesn't have Cookie, it's something they can definitely take advantage of. But about that map before Gullywash, sorry, I do want to point out, when you look at the overall kills for the whole entire map, both teams were even at 111 kills each, so it was actually pretty close overall round. The only big difference, I guess, was the mid-fights, being 6 in favor of Witness Gaming. But even Cookie not being here, Paulson, despite having the lowest sort of damage in the server, like, to be honest, he was actually playing fine. He was just doing what he needed to sort of do, as I mentioned earlier. When you look at the kills he was getting, he was just, okay, soldier bombing, 17 soldier kills, just doing what he sort of needs to do. Deny soldiers, kill the soldier bombing my medic. But like, I feel like Paulson actually did a good job, just sort of like doing what he needed. Yeah, not Cookie stats, but just sort of his role, I'd say.
Yeah, I think it's pretty standard, right? Combo scout wills. You don't get much space on Gullywash to do what you want to do.
No, definitely not. What I think was, one of the major deciding factors was the adaptation Witness had to mids. They won the majority firstly, and then on top of it, when BLG sort of they thought of something new, like that bomb into elbow, where they got low and they're able to turn over the mid. They immediately adapted to it. Paulson was ready. He was waiting. He was getting ready to bait and big door. Like, these things are, what you see from a team that are so experienced. And realistically, I think it came down to those mids and why they won.
BLG, like, okay, first mid, they do the robot fast bomb, take out Enrif, but it doesn't work. They just change it up and then, do something different, whether it's go in elbow, spam out Lao, or take out their soldiers or something. Like, they're just sort of adapting, but at the same time, Witness Gaming did a really good job just seeing what was going to happen. Oh, lose Enrif? Okay, we'll just do something different. We'll go aggressive into them. Same for BLG. Atten immediately dies. BLG just full on send it at Witness Gaming, which, to be honest, worked at some points.
Yeah. No, definitely.
I mean, these were the plays we were sort of identifying. Like, we have situations where we want these players on the side of BLG to make some sort of play, but they end up maybe relying on one or more of their players to be the playmaker, rather than approaching those more complex fights in a well coordinated effort. It felt as though, like, we're stuck on stalemate. All right, get sheep on sniper, or let's get Dork back, send him through, see if he can hit a great shot. And I mean, these plays do work. It's just I can't help but think that sometimes they tick that off the list, and then they look at the next problem that they've created for themselves, and they're like, oh well, I guess we'll sort something out. Sheep will pull something off, and we should be okay. But yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Ghost. It's very very good observations there. Yeah. Now,
I mean, the sniper plays were actually really insane. Like, Dork just sending it, jumping on the garage door, going for a pick on layout and just hitting it. And like, there was some really nice plays. And I think the one pushing through big door, I don't know if they spotted it. I think she repositioned onto the high ground, onto mid. So I don't think they managed to see it in time, like where Sheep was. I think they probably thought he was just under point. But obviously, really good plays overall by the snipers. And obviously Down was on that banner at some point, but unfortunately we didn't get to see that in effect. The what's it called, Battalions, I think, the one that has the radio or something.
Yeah, Down definitely loves his banners. I've seen him use it in pugs countless times. So I think he's trying to cook something there, but they didn't really have the opportunity to use it because when you're not holding as last as much as the other team, you're not really going to use it. I suppose you could use it when you're trying to cook into last. But going on to the next map. Product, I think will be really, really interesting to see, because there's a lot of options for BLG, right? So like, the first thing that comes to mind is that you could literally just get Sheep on scout and put Trev on sniper or something. Like
Definitely.
you can change your roster in ways where it can be really
Mm.
beneficial for you. But not only that, if you decide to keep your soldiers as Tachyon and Sheep, I
Mm.
think Paulson will really struggle to try and keep track of the chaotic nature of those two. You
Yeah.
know, constantly bombing the combo or going behind or something. It's going to be really hard to keep Lau
Mm.
alive on product, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty astute prediction there, because like we'll have to see if BLG feel like they need to make much of an adjustment for the fact that Paulson is playing. Like
Mm.
I've noticed that they aren't a stranger to having a sniper on product, but if they feel as though they can win the pure sort of standard matchup, then they might just stick to their guns here. What do you think will happen, Ghost?
I mean, I can see definitely, yeah, the sniper plays that you're correct, definitely getting Sheep or even Trev actually on the sniper. And then, Paulson definitely more chaotic, and I feel like, yeah, keeping track of those soldiers is going to be definitely harder. I know Paulson is Merking Scout. I don't think he probably can off-class to another, one of the core classes, sorry, so I think he's going to be stuck in a Scout. But even if they really want, they could put Paulson on Sniper. They could. I think with this game, if they really start struggling, they can definitely change up a few classes. It's a risky move. But no, I think this is definitely going to be a lot closer, and it's definitely a map that BLG favor. And especially with Daz, the amount of damage he can do, and just the way he plays of just sort of flinging his stickies, just sort of just going full chaotic and just hitting the amount of damage he can do, it's going to definitely benefit the way BLG play. But yeah, I think seeing Sheep or Trev Sniper, it'll be interesting to see what happens, and also interesting to see how, I guess, Paulson can sort of manage that. But I think this is also going to definitely rely on Witness Gaming sort of coming together as a team, and then sort of like, I guess, even Silvo sort of helping out that combo sort of scenario, even though Hoff is a sort of designer that almost like double combo scout, I'd say, almost.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see whether Witness can put up that wall. If Daz has that music playing, I think we all know what I mean by that. I don't think they have much of a chance. When Daz, he's on a roll, man. Sometimes he can really pump out that damage. I do expect big things from him going into this next map. Wills, do you have a specific prediction about how this is going to go?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends on what BLG decide to do. They could literally just, lose 2 rounds on the trot and decide to throw in the towel and just play sniper or put Sheep on scout. But assuming that they continue with their same roster, I think the prediction that I will make is that they will really try and put a lot of pressure on Paulson with their bombs, like, spoons going behind. Just the chaotic nature of those Tachyon and Sheep will be really a lot of trouble. And then, in essence, it's a lot of trouble for Lau as well. I think he's got his work cut out for him. With Daz pumping that much damage, and the soldiers being so chaotic, it's going to be very difficult for him.
Yeah. I mean, we are talking about Lau. Like, on the other hand, this man is so good at surfing spam and so good at dodging to begin with. Like, I don't know, I wouldn't want to have any other medic on my team if I was up against this BLG roster. So, I mean, it's hard to point out a clear winner. I think it will be pretty close, like you observed, Ghost, but I'm not sure I back BLG, despite their maybe individual skills and potential individual dominance on some of these classes. I don't know. It could still go either way. We should get some predictions up for chat very shortly, but we, of course, read the chat. We love to hear your thoughts. If you don't have any tickets lined up for the upcoming LAN event where you will be able to see all of these players, besides Paulson, I think, live and in the flesh, tickets are 50% sold out, and I believe it's something more like 90% sold out at this point, if production can confirm on that. But there aren't many tickets left. It's July 19th and 20th, that wonderful weekend. First day is group stage, second day is playoffs. It's at Fortress Melbourne, and should be really good. The 3 of us will be there, and a lot of your other favorite TF2 players. So if you don't already have a ticket, grab one now. And if you do miss out, there is a giveaway, so keep your eyes on that.
I'm looking at as well. We just got posted. What chat predicts, and I think people are still favoring this gaming 58%. I mean, I'm kind of agreeing with what you mentioned, Tal, about Tao's heals. He was pumping out a lot. Even on Gullywash, like is like to be honest, at some points, even just out he did out heal Atten, but definitely yeah, the amount of heals he would pump out was quite ridiculous. But I guess also just dodging damage in this map can be tricky. I know Lau definitely took more damage on Gullywash. Atten didn't take as much, playing a little bit more baity. But yeah, I'm to be honest still seeing. I can still see Witness Gaming taking this, but it's going to be a very, very hard fought victory. And look, I can see it going almost all 5 rounds, so 3-2 probably Witness Gaming.
Yeah, definitely. I think if I had to make a prediction, it's going to be 2-3 for Witness Gaming, but it could really go either way. It's going to go down to the wire. It just has to, right? Like, both BLG being good at more or less better at Koth, and then Witness Gaming being the best team in Australia has to offer, right? So you couldn't really get much of a better matchup, in my opinion. So
and prep. Practicing.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah,
I mean, this will test them, won't it, right?
I think it will test them. They are still waiting on Dork to join up, probably taking a quick water break. I hope you guys are staying hydrated. What have you got to drink tonight, Kevin?
I've got some water actually next to me, but our production is whispering in our ear to go to a break, so we'll be right back. And that's good. I want to go to the toilet, so yes, we'll be right back.
Fantastic. We'll see you very, very shortly. And welcome back. We expected a longer break there, but Dork was fortunately able to hop in.
We didn't have much contact with him for a while there, but they are readying up here. Last minute predictions, go!
3-2 WG.
Fantastic. We are going into this first round here, going to be on Enrit's cam. Let's see how this thing shapes up, Wills. They're going to both opt for the cliff rollout, which is pretty standard. And we're going to see a little bit of early damage down. He's going to bomb away. He's going to try and get behind them, both soldiers on the side of Witness Gaming. Connor is going to bring down Sheep. That's going to allow them to take some space here. And as Tachyon and Trev also go down, it's looking pretty Witness favored here. Both scouts sort of let loose on the side of BLG. Atten forced to stick by Dork's side, and it's going to be pretty Witness favored on this first mid.
Yeah, I feel so bad for Sheep on that first mid. He got bombed by both the soldiers and just sort of like looked up in the air terrified. But thankfully Atten was able to live. So they're not going to have the point, and they're going to have to try and pressure some sort of cap time or whatever it might be, whatever Liam's feeling. He already takes a lot of damage. The trade will come out early. Suvo trying to go deep on the flank, actually. Connor with a nice bomb onto Daz will be able to pick him up, but both soldiers will die for it. And now the post-super is going to look way worse without a soldier. Dork trying to kill Silvo, and he will just squeeze out with his life, getting piped as well. Needs to be so careful, but a bomb onto Lau. He's great, absolutely immaculate surfs by Lau to live that. And they will be back in the fight. Tachyon and Robo dead, with their 2 spawners rolling out. Witness Gaming look like they might have this fight.
Yeah, it's looking pretty close here, though. BLG, they are able to put so much pressure on the cap here, and if it wasn't for Witness Gaming having some pretty clutch focus fire there onto Trev, it could have looked a little bit more dangerous there. Maybe Trev not getting that memo, feeling like he's caught in. Tachyon getting dropped down really low. Atten, where is my arrow? Atten, arrow me now. He ends up going down alongside Dork and Trev. I know exactly how Tachyon was reacting to that situation.
You know exactly what that guy is saying to poor Atten.
Oh, my Atten, bro.
and on top of it, they're going to get the forward hold as well. So not only have they already drained a minute 50 off the clock, they're sitting here in the forward spawn, and they're going to have to try and do something.
Ooh, Tachyon, he breaks free! He jumps, he does a lot of damage onto the soldiers there, but he gets brought down. Robor, he jumps in behind. He brings down Connor and Silvo. He's going to go down a little bit further away. I don't know, Witness Gaming, they're going to respect it a little bit, despite bringing down Trev with that great bomb on the side of down. Paulson, send him in, bring down Daz, collect themselves here a little bit. They've already run down the clock 2 minutes, and Tachyon, he's trying to peek a little bit here, but instantly getting shot at. The Uber's going to come out from BLG here. They're going to see if they can get a force out. Dork doing a lot of damage to these soldiers in the air, down, getting dropped down quite weak. But yeah, they don't really get much with that Uber at all. Force Tachyon to hit a great bomb, absolute nuke, bringing down Connor and down. But it's a little bit scrappy. Silvo and Enrith orbiting Lau here, but Lau's caught. He's caught in connector. It's going to allow the BLG to just bring him down. Enrith, he's only got 34 HP. He could even be caught here. They know
I've seen
where he
Enrith
is.
win these. I can't lie. He will get the sticky out.
We're not even on his cam.
And is able to pick up. Oh, didn't pick up anyone.
He's
but
fine.
was
He
able
just
to live.
left.
We lost him. We lost him for a few seconds there, and then he's just magically alive.
Yeah, he just blinked into spawn. You love to see it.
But no, that trade by Dork wasn't ideal. Got really spammed out. But the aggression from Witness Gaming, the bombs. Robo is on the sniper. They know it, so they're already trying to be aggressive.
Ooh, they're on top of that. And he's brought down so low. He ends up going down, but that's 4 players. Given their fight, make that 5 players down, going down at the very end of that fight. And that's going to be some advantage for Witness Gaming to work their way out of spawn here. That's if BLG can't keep up with the pressure and slow them down at least a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, I did say, like, throw in the towel, get sheep on sniper, and I mean, they're already onto it. but the good
Would you
reason
believe it?
There. Good reason. Sheep an absolute insane sniper, so we're going to have to see what he can do. And it also puts a lot of pressure on Down and Connor to try and shut him down, whether they try to go behind or just directly bomb him. But the Uber's coming out from Lau.
Tachyon, great force there. Gonna see if they can bring down much with it. They do take down Daz. And Atten is actually gonna go down to that bomb from Connor. Robor, quick with the body shot. He blows himself up. And Paulson and Enrith sort of defending each other. Trev, really, really nice play there, being able to bring down Lau despite that chaos. Now it's Robor and Dork. You're gonna see if they can bring down Silvo. Dork cleans him off without much help needed from the sheep.
Yeah, thankfully he won that fight because... Oh, and a nice shot by Robor to pick up Enrith, and both the soldiers are bombing him. They will kill him, but the damage is done too late. They have no demo, and Connor will get picked up for it as well. They have to be careful being, 2 players down here. BLG with the point, 1:20 left. The Ubers, there's a slight add to the side of BLG, so whether Atten knows this or not, could be really influential for the end of the fight here, but they can't really afford too much time on the side of Witness Gaming. Lau will die to
trap from Daz! Oh, that's so tragic. Well, now Atten definitely knows he has advantage. He's backing off into Cliff, but Atten, he's dropping down so low. Witness Gaming, they completely collapse. It's only Dork, Tachyon, and Daz alive. But with Paulson and Enrith able to put up some resistance here, BLG know they have to go back and get some cap time here. They don't have players up for a while, so it's just Daz on 70 health and falling. Paulson doing so much work here. Enrith bringing down Daz, finally clearing up that fight, and BLG, they're forced to refight this. They need to keep attention to this point. Trev, he's going to dance around, draw out as much of this fight as he can, waiting for his players to join him, but that's going to be down, jumping overhead. He will end up being absolutely taken out by Trev, but Paulson Silvo, they are absolutely mowing down BLG here.
Yeah, Daz, the last one alive, will eventually get picked up by Connor, and the cap time will run out. So the first round going to the side of Witness Gaming. I mean, they get the pick on the insane trap kill onto Lau, and I think they just hesitated a bit too much with trying to get out there. And especially when you have a sniper, that collapse on Cliff. I mean, that would have been heaven for Connor and Down. Just absolutely mincing the rest of their players and end up killing them. But a lot closer since Sheep swapped off onto sniper. So I think there's still a bit of there's light at the end of the tunnel for BLG here. I wouldn't count them out just yet.
Yep. They're going to fade both soldiers over. Down and Connor both playing on concrete before jumping over Daz. He is going to get caught out here. Same with Trev, and I don't know, it's not looking good for BLG at the very start of this mid, despite Lau getting dropped down so low. He actually goes down. Tachyon hitting some really crispy rockets here. Atten, he's got to be careful though. He ends up opting for main. Not the right choice, as 3 of the Witness Gaming players were making fast for that exit. They knew he was going that direction, so
Sheep on
it's not looking
sniper
good.
up on Cliff. They have to be so careful. He takes a couple pot shots, won't kill anyone, but gets a decent amount of damage. Down will pick up Trevor, just hitting a couple back shots, and Paulson killing Daz, and is able to allow Down to get Tachyon as well. But Sheep's still
cleans
alive.
it up. Connor lands on top of Sheep with the assistance of Silvo there. They end up bringing him down. Silvo clearing up Dork despite that full buff.
And they have the point as well now, so it will be even Ubers, but that clock is draining, and BLG needed to start doing something about it. Robo's still on the sniper, deciding they're going to try and take right here, which is not ideal. for a sniper, and they're already getting bombed.
Oh my
and gets synced by Connor and down. A perfect bomb. We'll pick them both up. Daz also dying. Dork's going to try and make something out of this. Can he get any kills? He's going to go behind through China here onto Lau. Can he pick him up in a nice shot?
Oh,
nice two-shot onto Lau, along with Sheep. Getting a nice shot onto Paulson. They can actually win this, and Enrith dies. So that collapse looked amazing by the Witness Gaming soldiers, but a nice little clutch from Sheep and Liam, and they're able to get themselves back in this game.
I gotta say, these soldiers from BLG played that fight so well. Tachyon, like, respecting the distance he needed to provide for Witness Gaming there and getting such effective damage off, really stunting the advance of Witness Gaming there. And they really wanted to follow up on that great bomb coming out from Connor and down, but ultimately it ended up getting them caught, and they ended up wiping for it. Now, BLG, they have the point. They're combating these soldier bombs. Connor, he's going to get brought down so low in front of Dogbread there. Silvo and down. They're trying to collapse here. Down. He brings down Robor, and he's sitting around on Cliff here. He's going to see if he can get down onto Atten. Atten, he dodges a nice rocket, but ultimately, Trev and Daz, they weren't there in time to save him.
A really nice try. A nice try from Atten there. If he would have lived, that would have absolutely opened up this round with all that ad. Unfortunately, he doesn't. But it is still just another fight here. They're going to have to wait for their spawns. Well, BLG are going to have to wait for their spawns because they do have the cap. And it looks like Tachyon might get caught on the left here. He is able just to squeeze his way out.
So low right now. BLG, they're just not able to keep up this pressure. This long-range damage being outputted by Enrith. It's just absolutely devastating. Paulson and Enrith, that combined damage, bringing him down. Daz, despite his team being there for him, they just needed to leave it. Can't support a man like that.
Yeah, like you said, the amount of pressure Witness Gaming are putting down is astronomical, and it's really important when the other team has a snipe, because you just cannot give him any room whatsoever. Look at this, like, already spamming through main, isn't able to take a shot at all. Like, the pressure is insane, and they do have the slight ad, but they're just going to opt for the forward hold, I think.
Yeah, Enrith brings down Tachyon, who tries to jump through. He's definitely made the comm to his team that they're aggressing through choke there. Connor, he makes that opportunity to try and push through that grass doorway down, bring down Trev in this central region as the trade is going to come out. Down one on each side, both trade. They're going to look for something here. They bring down Down, who was sort of sneaking in behind them there. And BLG, that might have opened up an opportunity. That said, Silvo, he's behind Daz right now. I don't think he quite expected that. And it's looking pretty gross here. Tachyon and Robor doing insane amounts of damage, but Connor, Enrith, and Paulson, they're well aware of BLG's game plan here, Wills.
Yeah, that bomb almost squeezing out a Lau kill and a lot more damage. But unfortunately, they have to be so careful pushing up here. This is probably really the last fight they're going to get, and they have to be on their A-game. Sheep in. We'll get a nice rocket off onto Enrith, and a nice 2 rockets onto Down, able to pick him up, but Silver will inevitably clean him up. It looks like the bomb from Connor trying to pressure the rest of the combo, and Lau with a great
That
surf.
was so close to the spoon there. They send in Sheep instead. They end up forcing the Uber, but I mean, at what cost? BLG, they're already down 3. They don't have Uber yet, and the clock is running down further and further with only 5 seconds left on the clock and only a little bit of cap time to worry about. And this Uber needs to come now.
Yeah, 95%.
They do so much damage to these players, and yeah, unfortunately, he's going to die with 95% Uber there. BLG.
And Lau not even dying as well to tread behind. So, I mean, the best case scenario, they don't have the cap here, so the spawns come quicker, but because they have the heals,
Ooh,
it's
Lau!
such a
He
good
needs a
fight.
pipe there. Oh, narrowly dodges that rocket. I mean, that could have been BLG's chance, but unfortunately, that's the second round going the way of Witness Gaming.
Yeah, I just saw Atten on the right there. He was on 95%, and he wasn't healing anyone for like 3 seconds. I think he was too afraid to kind of walk forward and heal his scout, which might have been the downfall there for his team. And now, I mean, their backs against the wall. This was, you know, if BLG were going to win a map, it was going to be this one, and it's 2-0 at the moment.
Yep. We are going to a best of 5, so it is still anyone's game. Not on this map, of course. On this map including, but best of 5 maps. The mid-fight's going to break out here. Tachyon going to get dropped down really low by Enrith, hitting a nice pipe and sticky there. And Dork, he's just going to get let loose. He's going to bring down Connor and Down before being forced somewhat to back up. He needs to go back and protect Atten and Daz, who are taking so much damage. Enrith and Lau bringing down the combo of Trev and Dork there, and it's just Tachyon and Daz protecting Atten against this tirade of Silvo and Paulson. They're just advancing like there's nothing to lose, and I mean, that's what wins you a mid-fight here, Wills.
They sort of, a similar thing happened on the first round. They had this advantage, this player advantage, and they blew it by chasing and feeding one by one. Like that should have been a BLG cap on mid, and you know, waiting for their spawns for another basically mid fight, but they didn't. But they're going to Uber out right here. Daz, let's see if he can get the force. He does get a decent amount of damage, but Lau is too smart to use there, and Robol will die as well to down in the back. So they have to be so careful. It's disad already, and their demo and soldier is dead.
That's a really late Dad's death. That's going to slow down BLG a little bit here. Maybe not able to capitalize on that kill onto down. Really unfortunate. They're going to try, nonetheless, trying to create some pressure. Tachyon jumping onto Rock there, trying to hit some valuable spam rockets, but ultimately, let's see if this sack is fruitful. Robo and Tachyon, they do drop down, and the Uber does come out. They pick up Trev with that Uber, and now it's their turn to try and take some space back. BLG may be forced into spawn, and we might see another forward hold here.
Yeah, look, salvaged really
they are
well.
breaking out a cliff. Daz?
Yeah, Enrith will die as well, actually. But Ann dies to the bomb from Connor, and Silver cleaning up Daz. Robol, can he get anything out of this? He's so low to try and do anything. They're walking forward. They are able to pick up Lau. Trev still aggressing, and it's just Paulson will inevitably die to Liam there. So not too bad from BLG. I really liked the aggression to know they were going to try and forward hold it, and they immediately went straight to Cliff and broke it.
Losing Trev there is not ideal right before capturing the point, but yeah, as you said, like they did what they could in that situation. Thought of that last minute aggression. You can't help but think that maybe there was a situation there where Atten was in a safer position, but yeah, nonetheless, pretty good foot push from BLG, and it's going to give them the point here. Paulson, he makes a play, he brings down Tachyon, and Robor, he's landing directly down onto Lau. They lose 3, but bringing down Lau and Connor, it's going to open up this fight a little bit for BLG. They might need to kite out these incoming players a little bit. They end up going into spawn, maybe to break out through grass. It looks like what they're going to do. Forfeiting the point to Witness Gaming, and yeah, a little bit awkward here.
They have I mean, they have the ads, so thankfully maybe they'll be able to just edge the cap and be able to solidify and keep their Uber. We're gonna have to see, but they might try and take it. No, Liam sees their combo is far back. The bomb in from Connor will get the force, however, they do get the one kill. Down is behind, trying to create some chaos. He will hopefully get picked up here, and he will. So 2 soldiers for the force of Atten. Normally, you know, not terrible, but because Witness Gaming only have a minute left, they're gonna have to really be careful of this Uber.
Oh, Daz hitting a great pipe sticky onto Silvo there. Silvo maybe getting a little bit ambitious. Robor and Dork do bring down Connor as well with the assistance of Atten hitting some pretty clean arrows right now.
Yeah, Atten is doing a lot better than I expected. I thought he was going to be like basically suffocated by Witness Gaming, but he has been able to identify a few of the bombs and what they're trying to do, and hopefully he's able to get this Uber. I mean, they only have 30%.
These soldiers come in, they do force out the Uber ad from Lau. So maybe not the most ideal Uber here coming out from Witness Gaming. BLG well aware that they might try and go for something. Daz, pretty heads up play with a trapping connector, bringing down, and Trev's going to win that 1v1 against Silvo. Daz hits a great midi onto Enrith there, bouncing him up, taking him out, and it's not looking very good for Witness Gaming here, facing potentially an Uber out of BLG if they don't respect them, and I mean, they're forced to go back into spawn, wait for some players here. Lau still playing around base cliff. Connor, he gets sent in, does so much damage to these players, but a little bit of time had passed, so Atten was able to buff them up, not so susceptible to a bomb like that from Connor, and it's going to somewhat reset things here for BLG. Tachyon, he's going to fall to Silvo, but ultimately Witness Gaming, they can't make the space. They lose both Enrith and Down on that fight, and I mean, Trev does what he can. Witness, they're trying to break out from Cliff here. They are down 2 still, but recognizing that Trev and Tachyon aren't going to be around for too long. I mean, it's not good.
They have to be so careful of the Uber though. They need to respect it. They can't afford Atten to die because, I mean, they'll probably just lose the round. So, and the sack will come in to try and get the force. Unfortunately, it's not very fruitful. But Atten will live on 42%. So I think there is an opportunity here to get the Uber and try and get a trade. But they're going to have to go in pretty soon, and they'll have to go in before they get the Uber. And I think
looking
Witness will
pretty
know
tight.
this. As soon as
He's gone on the sticky jumper. He's gonna see what he can do here, maybe. I don't know whether this is troll or not, Silvo. He's on the sniper. He's gonna hit a quick body shot onto Robo there. Robo, he's gonna be chasing him around. Silvo ends up bringing him down, but Atten and Trev and Tachyon are all gonna fall. It's looking pretty Witness Gaming sided.
It is looking very Witness Gaming sided. And with no players to touch the point, I really doubt, unless Daz can... Oh, Daz is not even spawning, so I doubt he's going to be able to do any Tempest with his sticky jump. I actually kind of like the play because you kind of need to disperse when the other team is Ubering like that. And just like flying around the map on sticky jumper isn't like the worst thing, but I mean, they lost anyway, so...
Yeah,
And
I mean,
very open to Witness Gaming.
a little bit more of a stomp than we might have expected here. Yeah, it goes the full 3-0. Witness Gaming really demonstrating why they are going to represent the region at Denver. Definitely putting in so much work here. Some great coordination, particularly on behalf of Connor and Down. We saw so many plays that just made Atten basically powerless, Wills.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, like I said before, he was doing well with what was going on, but it was a tough ask, and I'm honestly just astonished to see 32-9 by Unk himself, Paulson, with top damage as well. Like, what an absolute beast!
The monster no one expected,
I'm
Kevin.
looking at the logs right now, and even Sheep on Sniper, it was working for a bit, but as soon as, like, again, we said Witness Game adapting, they realized it, and then what was really good was the fade play. One sort of try and go behind, the other one just sort of fading away, and they sort of just crunch at the right timing. Even that bomb onto grass on the forward hold, onto Atten, that was, like, Atten can't do anything there. He's baiting, doing, everything by the book, and then, he just gets bombed by two soldiers, double synced, and just gets deleted, and there's not much you can do, unfortunately. Interesting by the sticky jump, I'll be honest. Very, very interesting, but...
I don't think it was taken too seriously, Ghost.
Yeah. But, I just want to say Paulson did 2 kills highlight, like, he played really well. Like, despite, we thought it would get a bit, a lot of pressure, a bit chaotic, everyone just going everywhere, flying across the map. But Paulson actually played really well and playing really tight with his medic and just sort of, again, doing what he needed to do. But again, Lau hitting those insane serves. One thing to point out is Atten died a lot, to be honest. Like 11, not much you can do when Witness Gaming is just sending 4 players at you. But Lau did a really good job just surviving. So
yeah, it's pretty rough. Again, I mean, like Paulson, he's just putting up an absolute wall. Like BLG, they did so much with Tachyon and Road War with the assistance of Trev, always darting in around the flank to bring down Lau. But with the exception of a few pretty critical mistakes, like Witness Gaming, they just looked so secure in that combo, Wills.
Yeah, definitely. I think, as my prediction standard, the BLG soldiers, I thought were going to be, if they were going to win, it was going to be because of them creating chaos and stuff like that. And the combo just dealt with it. Witness Gaming's combo just dealt with it so well. They were able to shut it down. And she basically gave up at the end of the first map. Well, not gave up, but gave up on the soldier, spam and jumps and whatever, and just went straight to sniper. So, which did work out for them a little bit, I think. But again, as I was saying on Gullywash, I mean, they just adapt so well, right? Like,
yeah,
he gets off on sniper, and then they start countering it.
I mean, the thing is, when Witness Gaming were just forward holding them to the point where it was basically just suffocating them, spamming grass, and then the main, and then Sheep trying to play sniper. There's not much he can do. He's eating pretty much every possible damage particle there. Like, he's just basically just, as I said, forced off sniper, having to play soldier. Obviously, breaking out the forward hold as sniper is a bit tricky unless he hits a miracle headshot onto a key class, maybe a demo or medic. But yeah, having to force him off sniper, then back to soldier, I think that's really good. And Witness Gaming sort of realizing that fact and just sort of taking advantage of it.
Yeah, like you said, Wills, they adapt so quickly. We'll have to see if this trend continues into the next map,
which it shall be changing to quite soon.
Snakewater.
I think we'll see probably something quite similar to what we saw on Gullywash, where we'll see a few particular flashy plays come out of BLG if they're feeling up to it, but I'm expecting more of the same.
Already up instantly as well, so we're getting right into it. I'll leave it to you guys. Oh, never mind. Oh, hang on a second. We got baited. My bad.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a bit excited.
It's all good.
Yeah,
it's all good.
When I think of Snakewater as well, like I just think of Witness Gaming, like it's their map pick. They're always so dominant on it. So it's going to really test BLG. But I mean, I was wrong about Gullywash, and I was wrong about products. So I'm curious to see how this map goes. Interested in your prediction, Kevin.
Yeah, I was about to say, it'll be interesting to see, because obviously this was played at LAN, and then again, Witness Gaming are quite, quite good on this map. So it'd be curious to see what they do with, obviously, Paulson slotting in, any sort of set plays. I know there's a couple they probably do. However, despite how it's going, again, I'm just going to have to go with this gaming, just the way they're playing and how quickly they adapt to certain scenarios. And obviously, even though playing with a stand-in, Paulson is, he's doing an amazing job. So I'm going to still go 4-2, similar to Gullywash, but in favour of Witness Gaming.
Thank you so much, Ghost. I totally agree with that analysis. So we are going into this first mid-fight. Oh, this is yet again a bait. It's all good.
Jesus,
another bait. Oh my god.
Oh,
it's fine.
You know what?
Is there...
Cal looks like he's about to go.
Get a bit of water here. Why not?
It looks really tough.
Is there anything in particular we should look out for on the side of Witness Gaming, Ghost? What do you think? Like, do you think their mids are probably going to be the deciding factor, or what is it?
Not just their last pushes. Like it's so clean and they're just very coordinated. I feel like especially the last pushes, I think, are to watch on Snakewater, but also what they do in the mid fights. I'm very curious to see what happens again, BLG, and same for Witness Gaming. But any sort of fast plays, fast rollouts, especially we saw Sheep go fast on Gullywash. Really did the same thing on Snakewater onto Enrith.
Sheep go fast is right.
Absolutely. I think I'd have to agree with the last push. That they're so dominant in converting like these small advantages. And I mean, when we saw on Gullywash, the mids as well they adapted so well. So I think BLG are going to be on the top of their game really for this. But we're straight on to
turn things around. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them are feeling a little bit tilted after that product game. So time to rinse things off, wake up a little bit, shake off those nerves, reset, and going into this first mid fight, Enrith doing so much damage to Daz already, forcing Atten to hit an arrow here before returning to the buffs of his soldiers there, and that's just going to allow Witness Gaming to advance absolutely monstrously. Robo on the other hand, on the spy, Spider mid brings down Lau, and you can't help but think that BLG, I don't know, Wills, they might be trolling a little bit. They might be trolling.
We might be seeing the true colors come out. And I mean, I played their team on Snakewater a couple weeks ago, and they did the exact same thing with Sheep on Spy. So it's interesting. He got Lau as well, which I guess at the end of the day, if you're gonna lose the mid, at least kill their med. But
he's bombing in. Silvo's just gonna kill him though. Silvo, he's still alive!
Oh my god.
He almost survived that. I mean, it looked so good for BLG for a moment, but Daz taking that fight a little bit too aggressively. It's going to be only 3 up on the side of BLG. They're going to try and chase anyway. Enrith probably catchable here. Dork doing a lot of damage, but he sneaks away through Kitchen. Lau hitting some pretty clutch arrows there, and they might have a chance to wait for some players, but Tachyon is chasing hard. Dork, he brings down Lau, and Enrith, he might be living here, but Lau won't be telling the tales.
No, Lau does not tell the tale. Interestingly, both medics had the same idea and went crits. Lau did die, but now we're gonna see a potential Dork crits onto mid here, if he's feeling ballsy, and it looks like he might just end up waiting for his player. Connor lurking through Saw there, seeing if he can catch anyone. And Enrith's got his opportunity to set up traps as well, but they're gonna come through Saw. They don't have Uber, so they have to be careful. Can they get any kills?
Have a good trap here. Ooh, they do see it. They're going to try and send some players in. Tachyon. Atten is actually going to die to Connor. Connor holding that doorway down, and the three of them are all gonna die. Like, Trev is gonna fall on the flank here as Down tries to go for a collapse, and Enrith hitting a nice pipe onto Sheep there is really gonna round out that mid. I mean, BLG, like, they're just taking so long, Wills.
Yeah, they did take up. I thought it would have been better if Liam went straight into mid there, but yeah, they're just gonna get cleaned up on last because they died so early on second. But yeah, I thought Liam was gonna go earlier and like maybe kill 2 or 3 with the crits on mid. But instead, they kind of, like you said, they were slow and they take their time, and then, once Lau's spotted that you have crits, or maybe they already knew, you're basically cooked trying to push into mid without Uber.
Yeah, you're definitely cooked. Like, I think they knew basically immediately as soon as he peaked, because I could see Lau sort of peeking with the Solemn Vow, waiting for a glimpse at what that Uber situation was. But yeah, not looking good. Reset, new mid fight, new me. They're going to send some soldiers in. They bring down Lau. Robor and Tachyon are both going to fall, giving their lives for the cause. And Atten, he's going to kite around. They're going to see what they can do about this pesky Down that's in doorway. But I don't know, they just bomb onto Atten, and I don't know. You can't help but feel like Atten was caught between a rock and a hard place there. Down behind him, and the rest of Witness Gaming advancing. Only Robor and Dork alive now. Robor is a spawner, and Dork just sitting on second by himself. Probably listen to his team complain about something.
Yeah, absolutely. Lau not spawning with anyone. He's gonna have to wait, and there's gonna be a little bit dissat, but it really and it's not gonna be able to tell, especially that they're on different parts of the map. So I think it'll just stalemate out. Robor is on sniper, just sitting up on bats, trying to lurk for a kill, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets one. We'll have to see. Are they gonna try and dry fight with this gaming? Maybe they're feeling themselves.
Quite a bit of all chat going on here. They're trying to tilt Daz. It's not looking great. Might see a crash out here as Robor, he brings down Connor with a pretty good headshot. That's going to slow down Witness's advance. Going to have to respect the Uber potentially coming out from Atten now, and they're going to give them the space they require. They don't want to get caught by this Uber advantage, especially with Connor down. And yeah, they're going to hold a little bit further back on mid, but BLG decidedly not advancing. They're going to let things even out. Atten, hitting a really good surf. Down, almost seeing that shot.
What a shot from Robor! Able to kill La. Not only did he shut down trying to push, but he also kills the med picking Saw and drops him. So BLG literally wiping the enemy team and advancing into second with full Ubad. They could possibly get around here and tie it up.
Yeah. All of a sudden, it's looking very BLG favored indeed. They do use the Uber. It's Connor. He went high onto Atten, maybe not expecting that. And all of a sudden, the advantage, it's not really coming to much here as they almost have plays through. But that said, Daz, they're going to just send it all in onto last. They're going to see what they can pick up. Silvo and Lau is both going to go down. Daz, they must have lost track of him. He sort of disappeared behind them there. It didn't look like any Witness gamers were keeping an eye out for him. And BLG, they're just on last. It's only Enrith putting up a fortress here, bringing down Trev, and ultimately it's not enough. I can't help but feel like they lost track of Daz there in that dry fight.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked good for Witness Gaming. They get the force. They're only one player down, and they picked the right doorway to stuff as well. But Daz just being able to pick up Lau with the pipe is just so good for BLG, and then they slowly healed up and were able to win the last fight. So, yeah, well done. But we're onto the mid. Daz spamming down straight, trying to get some damage onto Enrith. Isn't on the sticky jumper this one, but not really doing a whole lot of damage. Will be able to tag up the scout. No bombs from either side either, except for Connor going straight in. A nice rocket onto Atten, and he's going to be weak. They're going to have to be so careful.
Just saw the bonk, like, pencil jump directly face planting onto the balcony there, and that's going to cost BLG. They're going to lose 4, and now it's just Dork and Trev seeing what they can do to salvage some of this. Paulson and Enrith are orbiting Lau like the world depends on it, and I tell you what, Paulson, pretty heads up, recognizing that Trev was going to come in from behind. Enrith hitting some good damage. Dork's also going to fall. Look like Witness They understand BLG's game plan. They know there's going to be a little bit of chaos that they're leaning into, and they're more than willing to play the death ball game. Trust the fact that they're able to protect. Oh, down, bumping into Robo there. Robo going for a bit of an ambitious solo play. Didn't have the team to spam and help him there, so instead electing to hide in the corner, he will get found. And now they're potentially without Sheep, at least for the start of this last push. They're going to go through top left, quickly land on the sniper. Dork's going to go down, and they're already down 2. Getting Sheep up as a spawner now. He's not even going to get any crit heals. He's just going to leave straight away because the point is calling. Paulson and down. They're getting a lot of cap time, and they're just forced to leave here. Lau only on a tiny bit of health. Connor brings down 2. Fantastic work there.
A nice cleanup from Silver as well to get that cap on those 2 plays. The bombs looked really good on the side of BLG. They kind of denied the point and got a bunch of kills, but yeah, they just played heals. Or Lau was able to heal Silver, and they just cleaned up towards the end. So closer than it probably should have needed to be.
100%. I think that last push was entirely resting on Lau's ability to survive there. As soon as he managed to sneak away on 20 HP and buff up his players, like the rest of that fight was basically in their hands, or at least much more difficult for them to lose. Connor hitting a pretty clutch 2k there as we go into our 4th mid.
Tachyon on heavy in Saw, waiting for these bombs. They still haven't spotted him. He's just silently revved up, waiting for Connor or down as a victim, and Sheep will die to some Enra stickies. So maybe it'll force an aggression.
He fades. Tachyon, he's been spotted. They're aware of what's been going on right now. They noticed why Tachyon wasn't fade bombing like he usually does. Gonna bring out the Uber. Trade is gonna come out.
Yeah, it's actually looking at the side of BLG.
Yeah, we saw an additional flash there, which is gonna not really allow Witness Gaming to keep their space. And things are gonna somewhat stalemate. Like, I feel like you're pretty comfortable here if you're the side of BLG, because you've just got a heavy absolutely posted up. What are they gonna do? Oh, I guess they're gonna bring down Daz. Ooh, that was very close. I don't know how he didn't crater there. That was insane.
A nice player trade though. They were able to get. They can keep cooking now that they have this player ad. But like you said, the heavy is kind of just there waiting for the soldier bomb. But Connor is in. The heavy shooting him again, forced to fade down, forced to fade as well. They just can't get past this guy. Paulson trying to make as much space as possible, but Tachyon just mowing them down, slowly chipping them. Paulson will decide to take the trade, and they have 15 ads somehow. Paulson killing Adam, and it's just the heavy on Bath. He will leave him and end up picking up Daz.
It's like so attentive from the side of Witness Gaming to recognize that, like, BLG, they're just getting absolutely cooked under this pressure. Like, Down and Connor creating so much of a storm that they don't really get a chance to build anything there. Robor hitting a nice body shot onto Bus Wi-Fi Paulson as he tries to push in, and it's ultimately not going to allow them to defend the point. I can't help but feel that Witness Gaming, they just understand BLG's game plan so well, and they're able to create so much of a so much distraction with these 2 soldiers that BLG, they don't really get anything that they want in any of these fights.
Yeah, definitely. And also, like, really well played from Loud and spot the 15 ad and also live on that other last push. He's being an absolute clutch player right now, but onto the mid. Both demos trading a bit of damage. It's actually Robor on demo and then Daz on sniper, peeking through catwalk. Can he get anything? The sniper, he will get the headshot onto the sniper in Saw, and Paulson as well, dying to Robor. It could go to the side of BLG here, but Lau thankfully able to pick up Tachyon and live on 60 health, but they will lose the mid for it.
Yeah. I don't know if you've noticed yet, but they do have Daz on the sniper, electing to put Sheep onto Demoman instead. Interesting.
Yeah, unreal combo. It's a very interesting play, but it seems to be paying off, to be honest.
I mean, you would think so. I mean, Connor getting a little bit caught there. He's probably a bit confused why the former Demoman is on sniper and pointed straight at him. That said, Witness Gaming, both Ubers are going to come out. Atten and Lau both going to die, and it's a little bit awkward here because BLG, they want to make some space, but with Daz, it's they just have to protect him here. They can't really take space too quickly. And Tachyon, despite that, is going to jump in, hit a really good rocket onto Silvo, and sort of clear things up here. Going to deny BLG to advance too far, and despite Witness Gaming being on last, I mean, BLG, they don't really have an opportunity to walk forward here.
Yeah, they also have... Oh, actually, a kill on down means late spawner, which means dry fight with the sniper. Although, I will say they do have a engineer, so maybe it will make it a little bit harder to dry fight.
They do have an engineer. Very good. Okay, well, let's see.
They're in anyway.
What they do here. They did just like push in. So I don't know. This is such a weird play. Daz, he's like sitting on the top right here. He beefed a few shots, and Silvo, he ends up bringing him down. Now they're only 3 up on the side of BLG. Dork and Atten playing somewhat safe, and Tachyon, he's got a gun that immediately just gets taken out. Dork, he decides to pressure this back up a little bit. He does get it! Wow.
Damn! Well, so, yeah, great 1v1 Dork to be able to pick up Connor. I mean, and I also liked the idea of, you know, like sacking some of your players on last and knowing you have an engineer on second to kind of, like, maybe mediate a bit of the push and hold the fort down. And then he kind of didn't. That's why...
I mean, like, in theory, that's what you're going for, right? But, like, when you just decide to push anyway and you don't even want to slow down the game, then having an engineer is just, like, a glorified and slightly worse scout. As we're going into this next mid, Lau going to get dropped down quite weak here. Daz, a little bit overextended, going to get brought down by Enrith. And, Lau, he's just so caught out of position here. They're able to collapse, and although they do lose Tachyon in the process, Atten is feeling quite safe right now. Sitting with Trev, as Dork takes a 1v1 against Silvo, he wins it. And although it's a messy mid, BLG, they take it. We saw a little bit of rotations there around the point. Some players on BLG, like Daz, getting a little bit caught out of position, but ultimately it's Witness Gaming's, their ego. They walk forward, and unfortunately BLG, with Tachyon's support, they were able to make a collapse there. As now they're capping out second, going to look towards last.
And yet again, Tachyon on engineer to kind of give them that, you know, if they push out, at least they have that NG on second. So let's see. I'd be interested. Maybe use the gun, but the Uber comes out on the left here. Silver not able to get any kind of kill on the sniper, and they've just kind of clutched on the left with the NG.
Bro. What on earth? Down, he spams him out from across the map. Can't help but think that Tachyon would have been slightly more helpful here as he runs into the soldier. He's only dropped down to 13 HP. Paulson, he brings down Daz on the other side of the fight with the pistol. Silvo bringing down Robor, and Paulson finally bringing down Tachyon after his reign of terror. He did bring down Connor though.
As you said, maybe a little bit more helpful on the soldier if he was, but the BLG spark is there. You know, it's like, unlike the other maps, it seems like they were trying to play textbook and you know, try see if they had a chance to get Witness that way, but they're just swapping it up straight to BLG mode.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's a spark, but I definitely smell smoke. As Witness Gaming, they're gonna take mid fight, this mid quite convincingly. Enrith hitting a great midi there onto Tachyon, and he's just gonna walk away. We see the Uber come out of BLG. They're gonna walk straight across point. They're gonna see what they can do here, bring down both Enrith and Paulson. As Witness Gaming, they're on the back foot all of a sudden. Down is going to fall, and it's just Lau alive. Going to make the great escape here, and BLG, they're going to be driven to chase him down. Daz almost catching him, but all the way in spawn, no longer a threat. BLG.
Robor typo on the last push as well. He's been criticised for this in the past, but maybe he can make something work here. They do have a little bit of space on the left, and Connor will go down to Tachyon, but they're baiting the doorway as well. However, Trev will get picked up, and Silver's just going straight in. He's in cheese. A nice double direct from Tachyon.
Great rockets from Tachyon. Really clutching it up there. Silver could have caused a little bit of distress for BLG, but fortunately they were able to account for him leaking through. As BLG, they're going to see what they can do with this left side pressure, but they're already in on last. Dork getting so much time here. He does have Atten with him. Ooh, it's looking a bit dangerous here. Witness
not bad
Gaming,
for
they're
cap time.
hot on the tail of BLG. They're just going to be forced to run. They might look for something else here. Dork being sent in. Witness Gaming, they have to rotate around. Make sure that with this large amount of cap time, they're not able to do anything about it. They bring down Robor, but they lose Edrith in the process. And Paulson hitting some great shots onto Dork. And Trev is also going to go down to Silvo. That's going to finally slow BLG down. They're gonna back up now. Daz potentially caught here. Paulson missing a few critical pistol shots, but returning to the scattergun finishes off that kill. And Atten and Dork, they're well out of range.
Yeah, I mean, it was looking a little scary for Witness Gaming. That trade was actually pretty good. They had a little bit of ad as well, so could have maybe put out Lau, but thankfully he gets the Uber. Robor going in for the bomb lower. He's able to pick up a Lau. I'm not sure how he's done that. They'll lose both soldiers, however, but they do have this full ad now.
Trev taking some pot shots here. A nice 50 damage. Hitting that hot shot onto down. Gonna bring him out of the fight. At least for now, as he's still in this forward spawn. Silver ends up hitting a nice 86 damage meat shot. Gonna wipe him out, and BLG, Trev really secured that fight for him. He's such a nuisance there that Silvo had to deal with him, and committing all these resources to dealing with this sniper ultimately allowed BLG to take control of that fight as they make their way onto second yet again.
Yeah, they have this 75% ad. They're looking like they're going to try and take a left. Daz is just carpeting the spot. They do see the sniper, so I'd assume they're just going to use that right here. A nice quick little rotate, and they do. The Uber coming out, Liam trying to bait the point, will get bombed. A nice flash from Atten, but no kills on the side of BLG. Dork trying to scratch for anything, but they're just opting to try and play left. They are able to eventually get down, but Takman will go down in the process for it. They have to be so careful of Lau's Uber. It's 80%, and they're losing players left-right. It looks like Daz with a nice pipe, though, will be able to kill Silver, and a nice
He's
pipe on
hitting
the combo.
so much damage, Daz. He hits a melee onto Lau. He's clutching it up. He hits a melee onto Paulson as well. What?
I can't believe that they won that.
That
They should not have. They should not have won that at all. Daz just hits
insane amounts of damage and carries that fight for his team. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
absolutely. Yeah, the pipe at the end that hit both La and Paulson, and they're kind of in disarray, and he's just got his sign out and he's just swinging it around. So, but we're onto the mid, so it's actually tied up now. We've got 3 minutes left on the clock. Who will? I mean, it'll probably go into banny time, so whoever gets the next round, I would assume will win. The bomb coming in will fade a little bit. Both teams are a bit too scared to do anything, but down, straight onto Atten. Will they be able to pick him up? No. But, Connor from
He does
behind.
go down. Connor, really good collapse there. Going to bring down Robor and Tachyon as well. That's going to be 4 up on the side of Witness Gaming. Unfortunately, they do lose Lau, but they get a team wipe in the process. Down, living on only 38 HP. Going to escape plan back to some health packs and wait for the rest of his team to roll out. All things considered, I think that Witness Gaming were able to deal with that aggression from BLG quite well, and Connor with that wonderful collapse onto Atten in-house. Such a heads-up play.
Yeah, very, very clutch for Connor. And will they opt for a dry fight here? You see it a lot on Snakewater where teams decide to go lower and kind of push out and create some space, but no, it looks like the typical Witness Gaming pressure cook from Saw, but they'll lose 3 players for it.
Getting absolutely shredded here. Tachyon and Robor just completely crushing the combo. Trev hitting some fantastic shots, bringing down Lau and Connor there, and they just team wipe. What happened?
Yeah, they get the team wipe, and I mean, there's 3 minutes left of the game. They're full out. They should be able to get second for free. Silver's in forward spawn. Can he get anything at all? They know he's there. He isn't quite able to take a shot off on the medic, but he's staying for longer than he probably should. Let's see if he can get a kill.
He's gonna peek it again. Look at this guy.
There's no way he gets away with this, right?
Don't do it, Atten. Okay, they're leaving. They're leaving. He's gonna peek it anyway. He back spawns, alright. They lose Connor, and Dork is already in on last. They shoot the sticks off the point right as the Uber is fading, but BLG, they need to give a little bit of space back to Witness Gaming here. They only are up 3, so they can let the map breathe a little bit. They walk back onto point and they cap things out.
Wow.
I mean, BLG, there was sort of a brief pause in their aggression during that fight, despite getting 3 kills. I don't really know where that came from, but they quickly realized they still have player ad. It's okay. We don't have to fear Enrith killing all 6 of us.
Yeah. I mean, that... Oh, it looks like
You see what
Robot
I'm seeing?
back on Spy. We'll have to see. Can he get a clutch here? I mean, if he kills Lau on this mid-fight and Ant lips, they could quite...
Look at him. He's just bouncing in front of Kitchen here. Does he go for an aggressive decloak? It looks like he's going for it.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's right behind him. He bumps into Lau. He brings down him with the revolver. He tries to get down another one. A little bit of brawl here. 1v2. Try and bring down Robot. They do bring him down. But only 3 players alive on the side of Witness Gaming versus Dork and a very, very healthy looking Daz. Daz hits a great sticky onto Paulson, brings him down, and Silvo and Enrith, they're sort of forced to deal with the reality of this situation. They're dealing with a med and some pretty healthy heals. Silvo, however, hitting really good 2-shot onto Daz, going to bring him out of the fight, and Dork not able to clean up Silvo and Enrith before losing his own demo man.
Well, I mean, Sheep getting that med kill on mid, Atten living. They could get the round here and win Snakewater. There's 1:50 left, but it doesn't really matter because either way they will win. A bomb coming in from down is not able to get anyone so low on Tachyon. O'Connor will actually end up getting a spam rocket to kill Tachyon. So it's actually not the worst trade in the world, but they still have 40 add, and it looks like they're opting to go lower.
They need to do something quickly, otherwise, like, Lau is nearing in on this Uber. He's already at 80%. They use it in through last. Dork directly going to the point here, getting a little bit of cap time there, baiting that point, allowing it to breathe a little bit, shooting the players that land on top of it, but Lau, he's going to use out the Uber. They're going to see what BLG players they pick up here. Silvo brings down Trev. They're sort of going to reconcile things on the side of Witness Gaming, aware that there is a little bit of cap time. BLG, they are looking to advance even further. Send their players in, and Witness Gaming with their backs against the wall here. Dork.
Yeah. It was an interesting aggression. They kind of set their players one by one rather than fighting as a team. But I mean, both Ubers were used. They will have second, but they're just waiting for the spawns. But they're going to go for it. They're walking in lower and down with the bomb. Is he able to pick anyone up? He does get Daz, and it's going to force their combo to leave. Can they consolidate anything here, BLG?
It's so close. They bring down 4, but they only lose Enrith. Unbelievably, I have no idea how Lau didn't die in that situation. Somehow,
really,
just his teammates are just tanking all of that damage for him. Like, he was dodging quite a few shots, but ultimately it was Enrith that all that damage was being channeled into.
Yeah, and also well done to Atten and Dork to realize that it's kind of going a bit south here. Might get out, but they do have Uber. Will they decide to trade? And yeah, Dork is going for this aggressive trade. He walks through. Trev also killing down.
Ew, Trev.
It's kind of hectic here. Can he pick up Lau? He will pick up Lau. And the soldier behind as well. He picks up the soldier. He gets 2. Robot collapsing on the rest of the combo, able to get the last few players. And I mean, they just wiped them. I feel like it's Banny time now. They killed Lau. They could get this map. Oh,
they do it.
No.
I hate these players so much, man. Oh, it did go to 5-3, so...
No, dude, why?
So it went to 5-3. It went to 5-3, so BLG did take that map. It's going to go to a 4th. We're going on to process shortly.
Dude, my voice can't handle this, I can't lie.
Yeah. It's all right. We can give you a break. We can get Ghost in for some casting.
It was a very chaotic game. I'll be honest with you. Like every mid, Sheep Spy, surprisingly, despite how troll it is and it's been ideal, will surprisingly worked. Actually, like.
Yeah, I mean that kill on that second round, the second last round was absolutely clutch. Like it was the reason they won it. So.
It was so like Lau's. To be honest, I think Lau died on pretty much every... I don't think he survived any mid fights, to be honest. I'm pretty sure Lau just was dying in every mid, despite what he could do. I think he may survive 1, I can't remember, but... Like...
I think he survived to the very first
Maybe,
mid.
yeah. But besides that, it was just so chaotic to the point where it's like... Alright, just... Yeah, it became just a full DM fest, basically. Because the amount of... Witness Gaming losing that actually was a bit surprising. BLG surprisingly played really well to their strengths on how chaotic it was, and it actually worked out to the end, and sort of shutting down, I think, Lau and Enrith, I feel like sort of paved the way for BLG to take Snakewater, and sort of like slow down, I guess, Witness Gaming's momentum in the early rounds for taking the first 3.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I can't help but feel like that game was Dork's world. He was the landlord, and Witness Gaming, they were paying rent in all of these fights.
Yeah, and I mean, even the mistake as well, like, the mistake at the end, not the end, sorry, when it was like 3-2, and Dork goes for the back cap, downs tag low, and I feel like, yeah, Witness Gaming trying to out cap, but I feel like maybe down called that, like, he probably needs someone to go back. I feel like there were a few mistakes there, but yes, it was surprising, yeah. But BLG, good job, I guess, recovering from the first 2 maps, and now, like, yeah, Snakewater, a lot closer. I mean, not close, sorry. A little bit more chaotic, but a win's a win at the end of the day, and now they're on process, I guess. So, yeah.
We might quickly throw to a break before we get into this 4th map, but it's made things interesting here. Maybe not the 3-0 roll that people expected. We will see you guys very, very soon for more of this Premier Grand Final. Welcome back. We are going into the next map. We are here on Process. Welcome back to the Premier Grand Final. My name is Tal, and joining me is Ghost on the cast, also known as Kevin. Kevin, welcome to the cast. I know you've been sitting on the desk providing some shrewd analysis, but we're straight into things here as some of the players on the side of Witness Gaming are going to get brought down quite low at the start of this mid-fight. The side of BLG hitting some very, very effective spam, going to bring down both Paulson and Enrith quite low. That's going to mean that they're going to lose quite a few here, only losing Robor in return, and pretty dominant mid just to start things off for BLG.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, unfortunately, Wheels has pulled out for the rest of the night, so I'll be taking his place. But yeah, no, I guess with this game, just got no space. Everyone got tagged down so incredibly low, and then Lau's just forced us in the choke to start arrowing. Luckily, he lived, which is good. Now it's pretty much even Ubers, but yeah, really, really good mid by BLG, just constantly going aggressive, and then obviously taking out Enrith and Paulson there at the end.
Yeah,
But
really
fun thing is as
capitalizing
well,
on that spam.
Snakewater now is the first time that Witness Gaming have dropped though, which is kind of funny.
That is a little bit awkward. Maybe not how we predicted things to go. But BLG, they're going to bring down the sentry gun of Paulson. And with that kill onto Enrith, this trade might be in their favor here. Although they are down Trev, and they aren't looking quite healthy. Robor, he's going to get meat shot immediately by Silvo at the end of that trade. And BLG, they just have to run here. It was initially looking quite good. Connor hitting a nice spoon onto Daz there. And he's going to get brought down. BLG, they finally lose Atten. And, I mean, Witness Gaming, they really show good coordination there. A willingness to take that trade, recognizing that the players on the side of BLG had already fallen quite low there.
Yeah, I mean, Robor's in this position above ITC can get a play onto the mid, unfortunately. Witness Gaming choose to opt through to go through store. Actually, Tachyon getting a little bit of spam onto...
Tachyon, he's dropped down really weak. Enrith's going to hit a nice long-range stick onto him. He's going to fall. And Witness Gaming, they really do need to protect Lau here as they're down a few players. Paulson getting dropped down quite weak. Lau is so low. Robor squeezes out another rocket there to bring him down. And yeah, BLG showing that when their back's against the wall, they can make a play for Lau.
Well, the chaos as well is actually, like, I feel like Witness Gaming, I feel like they're losing track of players, to be honest. It feels like they win that, they get the mid everything, but then all of a sudden they walk into mid and then they're capping, but then all of a sudden they're losing track of where these players are coming from, sort of situation. Lau almost had Uber there, unfortunately not getting in the nick of time, and that obviously now forces Witness Gaming back onto last year with the off classes here. Silver now back on the scout, so probably build a little bit, but I think they're just going to get Uber for post most likely, with Paulson on NG as well.
We will see if they do manage to get Uber in time here as BLG. They're already taking some space into lobby. Dork's ready to take this Uber. They started onto Daz. They bring down the sentry gun. Looks like they might be crossing over to left. Daz makes that jump. And Dork is going to be quick to follow. They bring down the sticks from point. And we're going to see a little bit of a soldier trade happening at that left doorway. And that's going to allow Dork to quickly get brought down as soon as he stands on top of point there. It's only Daz and Atten alive now. Daz going for a last-ditch play, and Paulson, he's going to bring down Atten. Atten electing to kill bind rather than stall that out any longer than it needs to. Now we'll be spawning with Daz, and Robor electing to spawn Sniper, hopefully slowing down the approach of Witness Gaming after they cap second here with full advantage.
Trev on the NG has been walking out of his commitment, so he's got the gun up. They're definitely trying to stall them out now, but question is, oh, actually, Witness Gaming have wrapped actually all the way around onto and drops!
Oh,
Tachyon! Oh!
Tachyon
so
hitting
unlucky.
a great spoon there. Yeah, maybe just too preoccupied with the forward spawn there, not all looking in the same direction, not aware that Tachyon might have been going for that play. Now, Witness Gaming, they've sort of forfeited the advantage they once had. Trev on that engineer correctly distracting them, and they do finally collapse onto Connor, who was causing a little bit of pain behind them. Silvo peeking through door one here, gets a nice shot onto Robor. Good to start things off, maybe slowing down BLG a little bit. Daz being caught with down in door one. They sort of bump shoulders, shake hands a little bit, and Daz just leaves.
I really need a chat actually for so too happy about that shot. But, I mean, I just want to point out something is, like, I think, yeah, Witness Gaming, they must have taken IT to wrap all the way around. The sentry gun did spot them at the end, they did lock onto them. But then, yeah, just got so unlucky, Tachyon with a nice marker gun onto Lau. But now, Lau backs against the wall. Probably going to get Uber for post, hopefully.
Yep, they clear out right side. They decide to rotate onto left. Daz being brought down really low. Connor ends up bringing him down. Unfortunately, Atten and Dork got a little bit disconnected from Daz there, letting him sort of sit alone. It's going to be a failed Uber push on the side of BLG. It's going to allow Witness Gaming to sort of chase things out here. They're going to leave Trev. And, Daz! Atten helping, hitting that arrow onto Enrith is going to provide Daz with the real estate to take some space back and bring down Enrith in return before giving his life away.
Yeah.
A little bit strange.
He
that
just sent
fight.
it. I mean, Enrith dying, that's actually good, but not having Uber is probably another problem. However, Dork now committed on the sniper, getting pressured out. It's nice surf out of choke there, but yeah, the same situation. This is another last push that BLG sort of beef there. The cap time, to be honest, they're getting their like presence on the point really, really late, to the point where like Witness Gaming are just starting to pick them off and just sort of focus firing them. But now
they're
you're
pushing through IT here. They decide to go upper. The Uber is going to come out. They're going to see whether they can pick up Robor in spawn, and the Uber is going to come out on the other side of that fight, looking slightly better for Adden here, but the Ubers, they're not directed at each other. Lau and Paulson are going to be somewhat stuck behind here with Enrith. Nah, they're totally fine. Tachyon, he has a chance to collapse here, but Silvo, he's far too attentive for this sort of play. Witness Gaming, they try to do something here. Trev, caught in, brought down by Paulson, and BLG, they're back onto last. Daz, he needs to play a little bit safer than that, because he just instantly gets clapped. Robor manages to slow down their approach, potentially bringing down Enrith, but Witness Gaming, they just have the sheer amount of players they have. Doesn't matter if BLG are able to hit some of these clutch plays, because when you've already got 3-player disad, it's not looking great, Ghost.
Yeah, Daz going for the play, obviously dying, not ideal, but he does get a pick down, but then yeah, losing that first round, and Witness Gaming finally getting a round on the board. So in the lead, and now into this new mid, Enrith with a nice little rollout there, and yeah, getting some nice spam onto the choke.
Yep, they are going to see what they can do here from the spam side of things. The red soldiers jumping without much of a buff, managing to hit a nice rocket onto Silvo there, Tachyon, before falling. That is going to give BLG some space to get some kills. Down, Silvo and Connor all going down. Trev collapsing onto the combo there with the assistance of Dork, going to bring down Lau and Paulson. Enrith is the only one to survive at the end of that fight.
Very chaotic, sort of. This mid-fight's actually quite chaotic. Enrith actually getting a nice rollout in the pack and just sort of spamming the choke just to deny any sort of crit kills or any sort of buffs that BLG can get. But then otherwise, it just sort of collapsed. Tachyon's just sort of playing distraction or sheep. I don't know, both of them are in the same Tosmax, so it's really annoying to keep track of. But regardless, so one of them just playing distraction, just sort of jumping behind, just sort of causing a bit of chaos.
They're going to use their Uber onto last here. Down and the Sentry are both going to fall, and they decide to take Heaven here. Tachyon getting brought down quite low. Daz trying to collapse on top of bus Wi-Fi. Paulson does a little bit of damage, but I mean, you can't help but feel that they're just stuck in spawn here. They managed to bring down the few players, and it was looking pretty sketchy there for a second there, Ghost. Daz, oh, he actually brings down Enrith. Oh, that was way too close for comfort. I mean, Lau narrowly dodging that stick near the end of that fight, and then Daz bringing down Enrith. That could have been absolutely demoralizing for Witness Gaming if
Daz
burst
burst well. Daz was sitting there just saying, oh, do I go back in or not? And then he commits to a nice pipe on the Enrith, and then, yeah, nice dodging by Lau to narrowly avoid it. Now, Witness Gaming are in the driver's seat with Uberad, but Trev is on the sniper, I'm assuming, in full forward, sorry, back of their silver area.
God. I don't think they were fast enough to recognize the fact they had a sniper there. Enrith getting a headshot. The full 450, Trev showing enough patience to wait for a suitable shot there, and that's going to slow down Witness Gaming's approach. They're going to recognize that it's probably not pushable now, and they might just let things even out, protect Lau, wait for Enrith to respawn, and play the stalemate game.
Yeah, back to square one, even Ubers, no one died yet for the meds, but Trev now over. Oh my god, Lau narrowly dodging that. Trev almost hitting a nice flick onto Lau there, but yeah, even Uber's here. They do spot the sniper, so Trevor's trying to get some aim shot from Silver, but Tachyon gets taken out there.
Yeah, really good trap, Enrith. Great job there, being able to trap off Al-Qaeda, taking Tachyon down, and it's going to allow Witness to pretty easily advance in here. It's just Atten and Robor stuck in this corner. The Uber does come out, but Atten, he needs to use this to escape. Silvo, well aware of his game plan, is going to chase him down as Robor's forced to make some sort of salvage play. Basically, as soon as Tachyon died, they just used that to just snowball advantage after advantage. Now Tachyon,
Oh my god.
on 4 health. Daz uses this as an excuse to go for a sack. They end up bringing the Uber out of Lao.
No, I mean, definitely don't sack your demo, but I mean, look, you got the Force, so that's always good. However, though, Uber's actually slight ad for Witness Gaming, though. Witness Gaming, sorry, and they are already moving fast into lobby, so I think they want to just try bust their way onto last. We go force a dry fight, hopefully, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, I feel like Witness Gaming aren't too bothered by the fact that they use their Uber there. It's going to slow them down somewhat, but Lao just builds this Uber so lightning fast. He's already on 65%, and it's just climbing, Ghost.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, are they aware of how much ad they have? Because it's actually quite big, to be honest. I don't know if they're aware of the ad that they have. They are building on the side of BLG, but I feel like they...
Connor, he lands in onto Daz,
Even
brings
out.
down Daz.
Oh, that
That
changes
could
things.
open things up on last for sure. They could even send an effective sack here. BLG forced to split their resources to account for the fact that their demo is no longer alive. Witness Gaming gonna pressure lobby. They still have a player sort of lurking too, but they will send a player in. Down, he's gonna go for a play here. With the assistance of Connor, they don't end up getting anything. Only bring down Tachyon a little low. And they hit a nice rocket onto Atten, but fortunately he's able to be protected. BLG, they're going to see what they can do with some counter-aggression here, capitalizing on the fact that Witness are still waiting on their soldiers. They're going to lose Silvo. The Dog's going to trade with them.
Oh, Lao!
Oh!
That
How?
was definitely a misplay, I feel. Oh, never mind.
What?
Okay,
What
good.
is going on? What?
Okay, I didn't say that. And that's just sending it.
And they just send it. What the?
Fuck! Atten!
It's like,
How?
it's literally they're in DEFCON mode. It's like, okay, Adam dies. All right, we send it. Literally.
And like lightning from the skies above, it just all collapses in onto BLG as they're going to try and contest here. They do have a soldier on top of Lao. Lao's going to get dropped down so low, narrowly avoiding these pistol shots from Dork.
Yeah.
Lao is
Pretty scary stuff.
I feel like that play on second before all went like very chaotic. There's definitely some sort of mistake happened there. Lao just not using.
Oh, and he's going to get dropped down so weak. Connor, he tries chasing him, but Daz, he brings him down.
Walk behind, causing a bit of chaos, but yeah, very chaotic.
He actually kills down. Who is this guy, man? The audacity. Tachyon hitting great damage, great direct. Silvo's going to get brought down. Oh my god, Silvo getting absolutely demolished there. BLG. That's going to provide them a little bit of space to take up second here. Witness Gaming, they do have the Uber advantage, but BLG getting their Uber soon. Witness is probably a little bit afraid to aggress this too early. Still waiting on a player. Paulson going to bring down Tachyon. That might open up an opportunity here for them to send some sort of sack wave. Maybe they decide to Witness Gaming pressure cook from Sewer. Looks like that's going to be their option. Connor going to use this as an opportunity to try and weasel his way through upper IT. Trev, Dork, they've both spotted him. He's going to get brought down low, but Dork only on 29 HP. He's going to see what he can do pushing this out. Daz. Atten thankfully hits 2 clutch arrows onto Daz. He got dropped down to only 5 HP there. And I'd say it's a successful counterplay against the pressure cook. That said, down hits a headshot, and it's looking a little bit awkward here for Witness Gaming. They're down 2, but Daz is going to fall.
Yeah, Dork gets dropped that little Uber play, but then Lao seeing...
Collapse here! They bring down Lao and Enrith so much damage. Paulson's also going to go down. Robor and Tachyon just absolutely demolish the team. Connor finally ends up falling at the end of that, but what a crazy
Coordinated bomb
onto those players.
They double synced them as well. It was literally just a... I mean, I think Lao was already quite... Well, it wasn't actually... No, it wasn't that low, but still, not much you can do when he gets double synced, but the amount of damage that was output by both the soldiers there was quite ridiculous. But now, with this gaming on the back foot now playing this out, and the soldiers was getting fought.
A little bit of skirmish here, an upright T. We're going to bring down. Really well played to Tachyon there. Connor going to be quite weak in sewer. Robor's going to be able to clean him up. They're 2 soldiers down on the side of Witness Gaming, but they're missing Dork. So maybe not feeling too confident for this advance. Nevertheless, Daz just going to jump straight towards door 2, see if he can pick up any stragglers, but Witness Gaming, they're on last. BLG, aware that the fact that they have Ubrad here, are going to go in. Missing this gameplay a little bit, watching the second being capped out, and Lau almost getting the Uber charge here. He is going to find... Oh, Daz hits a nice pipe onto him though, and he is going to unfortunately drop. Right as he was getting Uber as well, that's very unfortunate for the side of Witness Gaming, and ooh, with a lot of gap time, Witness Gaming, they don't have much health between them. He's going to bring down Enrith. See if he can make his escape here. Only 58 HP, playing around door 5. Connor hits a nice rocket onto him, and that's going to end the aggression of BLG, at least for now. Daz hitting that nice pipe onto Lau. That is going to mean that they're only just now going to rebuild their Uber up.
Let's figure out rebuild the sentry gun as well. So we're going to stall them out again, do the same for the situation, but Sheep on Sniper. Trev is committed on the... Oh no, he's not committed, sorry. He's just chilling in the forward spawn, so he will switch off, and I believe we have a pause.
Yeah, I imagine he'll switch off eventually. I don't think that this is going to be Engineer until the rest of the game.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks like there's going to be a slight network issue here for the players, which is going to stall things out a little bit. Witness Gaming seem to be having a little bit of a technical difficulty, but we should get the gameplay back very shortly.
Hopefully.
I mean, it's just been such chaos so far. It's hard to tell that these are the best teams that our region has on offer, considering these mistakes that are snowballing on the side of each team. Oh, sorry, just a quick correction. I think it is Dork that's having a few technical issues, but we should be able to iron that soon. Kevin, what do you think is going wrong for these two teams? Are they cracking under pressure? What's going on?
I feel like it's just BLG now probably believing they can win. I was having a peek during Will's casting, looking at Daz's POV as well, listening to their comms. They were having a lot of fun, and then all of a sudden Snakewater, they just decided to lock in, basically. I feel like that's just all what happened. They just sort of like snapped in, and now I feel like they are trying a bit, but yes, doing these like really silly and wacky plays, but they actually all working. BLG sort of being super chaotic, and now when we mention about, I feel like obviously Pulse now filling in for Cookie, not being able to keep up with all these plays. So I feel like players are getting missed, or like they're just not sure where they are. But also, Witness Gaming, whether it is getting quite late. So it's 11:30. It's almost midnight, for God's sake. And I feel like fatigue could be definitely an effect, but also, yeah, definitely a lot of misplays, especially Lau just randomly dropping a full Uber to 2 stickies where he probably should have used. I think there's definitely a few misplays coming out from both sides, but I think Witness Gaming are making a little bit more errors in the game.
Yeah, there have been a few awkward situations there where it seems like the mistakes BLG are making are self-inflicted, and the mistakes Witness are making are just not accounting for the chaos that BLG is bringing into this game.
But it's like they get an advantage. Witness Gaming is like, yeah, they're low, but then it's all of a sudden you see a Daz just bomb through the track. Like Daz is just sending it, but even though it's not ideal, but he's actually getting a pick with it at least. And we do see the game underway.
Gonna re-pause here. They're gonna bring down the sentry gun quite quickly. Dork's gonna bring down, so it's a little bit awkward here. Robo, he's still fully scoped in spawn. He's going to see whether he can do some damage here. Connor gets brought down quite low. He narrowly misses that headshot there. Manages to bring down Silvo though, and it's only Connor alive. Really good collapse there is going to bring down Lau and Enrith. And I don't know, Witness Gaming, it's hard to account for the fact that Robor is sitting in spawn. Like, they want to play past him. They sort of want to avoid those sightlines altogether, but like that's just really playing into their hand. Robor hitting a nice headshot onto Silvo there, who was sniping from spawn, following all the EPUG rules. But unfortunately, this is a Premier Grand Final. We aren't in an EPUG right now, and he's going to pay the price.
mean, question is, will BLG not be the last push, hopefully? I mean, they are finally in, but however, that point play is coming quite late.
They're down Connor and down though, so they will finally round things out. Yeah, Witness Gaming losing their soldiers in that early phase of the fight just meant that BLG could sort of take their time a little bit, understand that, like, apart from Enrith, there's not much standing in their way from capping that point. So, yeah, I mean, it's good presence of mind there by BLG. Of course, quick plug, if you don't have spectator tickets during this mid-fight, you can tab out and buy them. Now, Daz, he's taking a little bit of damage early into this fight. Really clutch arrow hit by Atten there. But Tachyon is down so low. He's on 1 HP and ends up getting brought down by Down himself. Witness Gaming looking quite strong in this mid, despite having only 80 health between the scouts, relying on health packs and sort of kiting out these BLG players around the map. Dork finally connecting with the rest of his teammates there, and Enrith is the last to go down. Bit of a scrappy one. Both medics falling is going to mean that these players have to rely on their ability to kite out the enemy team and play around the health packs a little bit more. And it just looked as though BLG were more effectively able to position around those health packs and sustain themselves in the latter half of that fight.
Definitely, I feel like it's probably Witness Gaming, they're trying to go aggressive. Enrith is sitting on the point getting so much control, but however though, they just need to be careful because Tachyon is rolling out really quick as well, and they just need to keep an eye on where this guy is because he's constantly just behind and causing havoc. But good thing is, I mean, at least both meds die. However, obviously Witness Gaming do wipe, but they are actually pulling the Uber pretty quickly. I'm coming up at 85% shortly. However, though, I think that both teams are just going to play it even here, and I think we're just going to see some sacks. And is Daz wanting to take us? I hope Daz is not going to sack.
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him. Looking quite healthy on the side of BLG. Might be looking for a good old-fashioned pressure cook here. Daz, he's already in. Goes for a pipe, doesn't hit much. He's going to get brought down, and Robor is quick to follow. They might trace Trev out of choke here. He needs to back up. Some nice damage hit from Down, peeking through choke there. And yeah, it's gonna wrap things up for BLG on this hold. Trev finally gets brought down, and can't help but feel like if Daz was there, he would have slowed down the advance of Witness Gaming. But maybe a little bit of impatience is coming to BLG, or either that or they're relying on these flashy plays to keep them in this game. Witness Gaming taking space on second Ghost.
BLG just call it, you know, in their terms, quit farming, okay, Daz likes to do. But I mean, yeah, I was like watching Daz, I was like, he's eager to sack, but yeah, I think a trade is on the cards here on this last.
Oh yeah, and it's looking pretty good for Witness here, forcing the Uber out, and then they can just back up. They even pick up Tachyon on the latter half of that, and Daz also gets caught into lobby. Paulson trying to do a bit of damage here into last. He brings down Atten. So that's a really, really good opportunity for BLG. For Witness to re-aggress here once that the rest of their players have caught up with them. Down, trying to get through door 2 here, landing on top of Trev, going to bring down Trev. Getting a nice assist onto Robor there with the assistance of Silvo. And, I mean, BLG, they're forced to do something here. Witness Gaming cap out the rest of that point. And, yeah, it felt like in the end of that trade, some of the BLG players just got caught in lobby. And, I mean, nothing says no man's land like being caught behind their combo freshly after a trade when there's no plan on collapse.
Yeah, I mean, finally, this game actually is quite back and forth, very, very leapfroggy. It's like no one can't just get an advantage, but now new mid, hopefully, sheep on sniper.
Daz is so low. Yeah, Atten has to just absolutely pump Daz with heals at the start of each of these mid fights. Witness Gaming, they're so good at really causing BLG to sweat. As Down and Connor, they both land in. They do bring down Robor, but it's not looking good for Witness Gaming here. They're only up 3, and their scout is Paulson, so they need to run.
Yes. I mean, this time Lau lives, which is definitely good. Just Rismitzy lives dying in all of it, but now they are actually a little bit aggressive here, and they do want to hold the second, and Ubers are coming out on both sides shortly. So do they choose to retake mid here, which is a possibility actually?
Yeah, Witness are gonna wait for the rest of their players, and we're probably Seeing another stalemate situation here with only 2 minutes left on the clock before we go into Banny overtime. And yeah, it's pretty standard here. It looks like Connor getting a little bit impatient, trying to spot their overchoke, wondering what is taking BLG so long, probably recognizing that they must have a sniper. Robor sitting in sewer here. Tachyon holding the door open, allowing Sheep to look for some sort of pick. And it's going to force them to rotate. Bust Wi-Fi down. Oh, very unfortunate. They try to make a play through IT there and just get completely mulched by Witness Gaming. The trade is going to come out. Oh, Atten milking that way longer than he should have. He got dropped so low there. He definitely could have lost that Uber. And fortunately, BLG are able to capitalize off of that more effective Uber, but that could have totally gone the other direction, Ghost.
Definitely, and now BLG already just pushing on to last here. Getting the frags needed and... really close. Sorry, not close, sorry. Getting the frags needed, but yeah. 2-2 and... quite close. Definitely a lot closer, actually. Probably the closest map out of a whole series, to be honest here.
100%.
Yeah, a new mid
We're going
here.
into this next mid fight. Daz gonna see if he can be a little bit healthier here at the start of the mid. Gonna take a little bit less space than he did previously. Gonna allow Enrith to shoot that early stick, sort of trapping him off for the time being as BLG. Now they're ready to advance. They start pushing over to the right side. Tachyon, they bring down Enrith, and they are quick to try and collapse on the rest of the team. Rao getting dropped down so low, and Daz, unknown, absolutely murdered him. And
Yeah.
and Silvo and Paulson are the only ones protecting Lau here, as it's more or less even Ubers with BLG winning that mid fight.
And Golden Cap now as well, any config as people know it as nowadays. But yeah, Sheep on the sniper, it's pretty much even Ubers here. And I feel like, yeah, BLG, as soon as Enrith dies, they just send it. They go aggressive. I feel like when it's gaming if they're mid, they could play a little more of an aggressive sort of mid there. It'll be good, but I think what they've noticed is Lau is, like, I guess, dying in all of these sort of mid fights where they try to go aggro, so it's really hard to balance, but yeah, Sheep just got deleted, so...
Yeah, Sheep was taking an angle that Connor knew too much about, able to collapse on him, take him out with 3 rockets, and get through the buff. It's going to allow Witness Gaming to collapse onto Daz here, taking advantage of that temporary player ad. And Paulson, unfortunately, is going to fall. For a side here, Ubers are yet to come out. Robor hitting some nice spam rockets. Enrith's going to go down, but Uber ends up being forced out. They're going to see what they can do here to make sure Lau also uses his Uber. Robor being sent in, trying to get something out of this. Lau is still milking it. He does end up using. Hopefully, Atten isn't caught here, though, as Connor is right on his tail. Atten gets murdered at the end of that fight, and Witness Gaming, ultimately, it's in their favor.
You'd hope so. I mean, now you got 5 plays up now for the side of BLG, and you never know. I feel like these guys might do something silly, but it looks like they are respecting a little bit. But yeah, it looks like they are playing on their side, playing a little bit more passive here. Witness Gaming with pretty big ad here. However, Trev is elected to play on that sniper class, so see if he can get a pick onto Lau, holding choke before, but now falling back to door 2.
Yeah, respecting BLG, respecting their players that are rolling out, and instead opting to maybe aggress from suicide here, not yet having Uber, but recognizing that they do have a bit of player ad here. Sorry, a little bit of Uber ad here. That's going to more or less allow them to take some space for free. And I will point out that Trev, sitting in door 2, hits a nice shot onto down right as the Ubers come out through door 3. They bring down Trev, and Red is forced to rotate through spawn here. It's really not looking good for BLG. However, with that pick onto... Sheep gets a nice spoon onto Lau there, actually. That's going to open things up and provide basically a free Uber for Atten. They bring down 4, and Connor, he's forced to make some sort of salvage play. BLG ultimately succeeding on the back of a pretty keen play, bringing down Lau. Oh,
Also want to go for a backup play. Door 5 is just hiding, but then he gets spotted by the soldier, and he's just getting run out by 6 games. This is so much to do there.
They chased him down. And it's getting a little bit drawn out here, as basically even Ubers, Lau of course being able to build these Ubers so quickly as BLG opting for the early aggression. Down's going to fall down so low here. Enrith eventually going to fall. Really nice collapse there by Dork and Robor, and I mean, Witness Gaming, they're forced onto the back foot yet again. Sitting in front of door 2 here, not quite having their Uber yet, and without Enrith, they sort of need to give up second for free. It looks like it's going to be even Ubers on last yet again.
Yeah, even Ubers, pulsing onto the NG. There's nothing really else to say. It's just John last. Stands for last hold here. And we do see a bit of a sack coming out from BLG, but no frags though to their favor. And actually forces. So that's good, actually, for the side of Witness Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, they're able to shut down that sack, and Daz, despite picking up both Connor and Enrith there, it's not looking too hot for BLG. They sort of need to give the space back. They lose Daz quickly, and although Trev is going to go for a play here onto Lau, bringing them down to only 65 HP, it's ultimately not fruitful. They're down 2 players in BLG. They sort of need to respect the space here. Dork could get caught. Silvo ends up using the Uber to bring down that combo scout. Silvo overextending though. Right as the Uber is fading, and Connor goes for a play. Doesn't work on Tad.
I think it's an arrow on him, I think, and just slows down his speed, but now BLG just slow and bustle their way through Choke, Halbert, they are both now 2 plays down effectively.
Yeah, Paulson cleaning up Trev and Tachyon there is really going to open things up for Witness Gaming in on this mid-fight. Robor slightly missing that headshot onto Enrith, but bringing him down nevertheless. As Witness Gaming, they do need to be wary of this sniper who's approaching down quick to bring down Robor, and they're going to quickly cap out this mid. It's going to allow them to advance in onto second, understanding that Lau Atten doesn't quite have Uber yet. He's only just getting now. We saw a quick trade out from the soldiers there, and Atten, he decides to use the Uber, recognizing that Lau doesn't quite have it yet. Oh, he hits a great arrow, Atten! Saving that potentially disastrous Uber. And Robot, he brings down as well.
Oh my god, I mean...
Paulson, interesting play. Thank you, Paulson. Very nice. The 21 HP rat. Didn't work. Might work next time.
It's so unlucky. I mean, I feel like they were going a little bit too fast there. I think they knew, I guess, BLG had pretty much Uber coming up to it. And Lau, I think what they're assuming is by the time they walk through, they would get Uber. But unfortunately, I think they probably played a little bit too fast and maybe weren't aware about, I guess, how fast BLG got Uber there. And I guess just really unlucky. Lau definitely could have got there, but I hit a really nice arrow to clutch that sort of situation there.
BLG sort of losing their player their Uber ad here. Witness Gaming already on 70% as they're going to take the Uber through 2 onto last stage. Going to land some great damage. Lau is going to get brought down by the pipes of Daz. Connor also to fall, and it's a really good start to this fight. Only Enrith alive now, and there's still 4 up on the side of BLG. They're going to cap this out, and that's the 4th map. We're going to 5 maps, Kevin.
Oh, this just reminds me of... Sunday. Oh. Here we go.
Yep. It's happening yet again. We are going to a 5th Bagel. We got the logs up here.
Yeah.
Tells a story about Silvo taking a bit of agency here on Process. Maybe holding his team together against the chaos that is BLG. You could see that Down especially. Down and Connor both dying 27 times. Having to give their lives to suspend the chaos of BLG, but ultimately doesn't work out for them.
I feel like this is the time where Enrith didn't have the best game possible. He was, to be honest, just getting shut down a lot, I feel like, on these mid-fights. And even they tried to go aggressive. Lau just sort of got picked off by a play behind. When you look at overall, like kills, like Silver, almost having dropped 40 kills trying to get his team over the line, unfortunately, just wasn't enough. And I feel like some roles may have changed I don't know. Because Paulson, I think, definitely, combo scout, but I feel like Silver was playing more that sort of combo scout sort of role, you know?
Yep, I think you're totally right. It seemed as though Silvo was taking a lot more heals, and he was definitely the one that was building with WoW a lot more. So I think the roles
Something changed, in, like mid
might have
game,
shuffled
they must have
around a
swapped.
little bit, or at least partially some of the responsibilities have been leaned off to Silvo. Another thing to point out, Enrith, unfortunately, not the best game for
No.
him. Almost bottom damaging. Yeah, I mean, embracing that chaos doesn't seem to let Witness Gaming shine through.
It was extremely chaotic. It was like, Witness Game, you think they have an ad, but next minute, you've got a demo flying through choke, hitting some nice speed shots, I'll be honest. And you've got a soldier behind causing chaos. And then there's a sniper just putting pressure, like where you go. It's actually like, it's really hard to play. Like they have ideas in mind, but like for example, doing their signature Witness Gaming pressure cook, as people like to refer to as, they completely just got shut down. Soldier walked through choke and just sort of sandwiched them, and like there's not much they can do. Like they're sort of just doing what they can. But now, I guess new map, and now moving on to Bagel. Another best of 5 in a best of 5, I'd say.
Yeah, and we will throw to a break just real quick while these players are maybe taking a drink of water. So we will see you very soon with the start of our 5th map, Bagel.
Welcome back to the Premier Grand Final ozfortress Season 42, Witness Gaming versus BLG. We are all the way onto a 5th map. BLG was able to take that 4th map, and that's going to bring things to the climax. I'm joined here by Ghost during this first mid-fight. Ghost just having a little bit to eat, which is respectable. It's been a while. Down. Gonna get an early kill onto Robor in this side house here. Hopefully this is going to allow Witness to lock in a little bit here, but that said, Enrith, he's going to get caught out. Trev and Dork both shooting at him, and Tachyon unfortunately getting pulled down by Paulson and Silvo. Dork and Trev advancing across the point, bringing down Silvo, and I mean, BLG, they're showing a lot of presence on this first mid-fight, Ghost.
Definitely. I feel like they definitely played a lot more to their strengths, playing a little bit more aggressive, took more control. But however now, yeah, both teams having over. One thing with Bagel, I feel like, is you don't see a lot of soldier bombs or sacks unless there's really a sack wave. But this is very key to keep your scout healthy, just to edge, I guess, the point there. Which now, yeah, Witness game.
That's a really good fight to win inside house. Robo picking down Connor there, and the Uber trade is actually going to come out. Silvo showing some initiative here to go behind, bring down Tachyon, and maybe they're going to collapse here onto Daz. Daz brought down quite low, but Dork, he's there. Robor brings down Lau, and I mean, it's not looking good for Witness Gaming here. Atten's still alive, feeling quite safe with Dork and Robor right in front of him, and it's just Connor and Enrith. They sort of need to make a play here.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like something as well with Witness Gaming. One thing, because Will's joined previously, we had a bit of a chat while we were on break. I feel like not having cookies, I feel like the mentality on Witness Gaming might be taking a toll, but then again, you have Paulson who's really experienced, so I feel like he can almost, he can definitely bring it back. But I feel like that's something causing a few errors, but as I say that though, Witness Gaming getting some good aggression.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. Connor does fall right before the recap there, and with Paulson and Enrith both dying, they're going to be waiting a long time to get these players back. That said, Tachyon and Atten are going to fall. So despite Witness Gaming maybe not getting an optimal recap there, bringing down Atten isn't going to allow them to have player ad going into this next fight.
Yeah,
going back to spawn, picking up Atten.
The timing on that as well was really unfortunate. They cap and then Colin just dies, but now good thing is Witness Gaming do have Uber, so they can just use the effectively on the point, wait for BLG's aggression, which is coming out now.
Yep, they are all guns blazing. Silvo taking down 2, and Robor is going to go down on the other side of that fight. Unfortunately, they do lose Paulson, but they do keep the point and make 3 of their players fall. So BLG, maybe back to the storyboard here. They do have a slight amount of Uber ad, but Witness Gaming, they're showing a pretty surprising ability to lock out these players.
Yeah,
and on the back foot, recognizing that BLG, they do want a little bit of cap time here to prolong this fight, hoping to get the clock down a little bit. That said, Enrith hitting a great pipe onto Dork, and these scrappy fights happening in the side houses, that's going to be a team wipe. Witness Gaming.
And Uber
showing
as well
that they can fight on multiple fronts here, Ghost.
Yeah, Uber as well coming up on Lau. So again, they can choose to forward, which they are now, and just locking them out. And one thing to note is I feel like we definitely noticed this as well. Silvo is definitely taking more initiative and having to play a combo scout role, even though this is Koth, but just see what happens. And
Connor hitting a great rocket onto Robor there. Such nice directs. Daz and Tachyon are both going to fall as well. BLG, they're doing what they can here to see cracks in the armor of Witness Gaming, but I mean, Atten and Dork, they're just stuck in spawn. They need to get this Uber before they try anything here. Witness Gaming able to illustrate how well they can collapse on these BLG players. BLG trying to break out bottom right here. Down. He goes for a play into lobby. Unfortunately, not fruitful. Tachyon and Trev take him out. And Witness Gaming, they're going to give the space back to BLG. Enrith, he's going to bomb in. A bit of a coordinated play here. They force out the Uber. Very nice work there, Dork. He brings down Connor and Enrith, Trev taking down Paulson on the other side of that fight. But I feel like that's what Witness Gaming were looking for here. They have Uber advantage now again, and they'll have those players back soon. BLG, they need to show a similar ability to lock these players out. Silvo, getting really close to that sticky trap there. Daz deciding not to dead on him, deads on Paulson instead. And yeah, I mean, BLG, let's see if they can hold back the approach of Witness Gaming. They do have full Uber at advantage here, so they need to be somewhat careful. Silvo, he's going to approach onto Daz. Daz is going to get brought down, but Trev, likewise, is on top of Enrith. Both demos down for the count, and it's going to be Uber's even here on this point. BLG, they're kiting out the Uber. Atten milking it for a little while before ending up using, and Daz is going to be quite weak in this post Uber. But that said, Witness Gaming, their soldiers forced to go back and get health packs. That's going to leave Paulson alone. They do manage to pick up Robor, but BLG looking stronger at the end of this fight. BLG, they need to recap though, as Witness Gaming, they're going into overtime actually, and Tachyon dying there is really not good for them.
It's getting close as well. Enrith is up now. Obviously, before Enrith dying there wasn't ideal for the trade here, but Loud keeping his team alive with these really, really nice arrows here, but a lot more damage
BLG
on point.
Playing around the cap time here. Silvo's on top of them, brings down Dork, Daz, and Robor. Meanwhile, Paulson, scrappy fight with Trev. Trev brings down Lau before Paulson's able to deal with him, and despite being down Lau, it looks like this first round is going to favor of Witness Gaming.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the cleanest gameplay I've ever seen. I mean, Silvo, he's doing so much work to keep things in Witness's favor. But I can't help but feel like BLG, they're showing signs that Witness Gaming, I don't know, there might be a little bit of tilt coming from their direction here after these last 4 maps.
The role switch up, has definitely paid off. Silvo now having to play more of a combo scout sort of role, and then Paulson just sort of doing what he needs to do. But now, Witness Gaming going for the aggressive play, which Atten is dead.
Getting on top of Atten.
Maybe!
Atten brings Dork down to 1 HP, ends up getting that final rocket down. And Lau gets brought down by Tachyon. So maybe that play took a little bit too long, neglecting Lau a little bit there. And although Witness Gaming are successful, losing Lau in the process is going to mean that they can't really capitalize on this and get a good forward hold. Dork actually is going to bring down Enrith during that fight. Oh, Robor hitting a fantastic shot onto Paulson, predicting that attempt to surf around the corner there, and yeah, ultimately, it's going to be Paulson's downfall.
I'm reading the
midlife
Twitch
crisis.
Chat. I'm reading the Twitch chat, and I just see Rocky post 40 years of wisdom combined with a 40 hertz spot.
That's true. That's a pretty astute observation there. As Witness Gaming, they're trying to make their way out of lobby. They do try and send their players out here onto patio, trying to make some space for themselves here. BLG respecting their ability to just walk forward behind the spearhead of Silvo. Silvo going to surf that sticky all the way back, hopefully getting an arrow from Lau. Never mind, just beam him up. And they're going to try and re-aggress here. The Ubers are going to come out very shortly as Witness Gaming, they do manage to recap without forcing out the Uber of BLG. Looking pretty good for Witness Gaming here as they do have more of an opportunity to run down the clock as the Uber trade is going to come out. Robor is going to use this as an opportunity to jump through house. He's going to bring down Paulson. Paulson hiding in the corner there, ultimately not beneficial for his team. And I mean, BLG, they're able to sort of wrap roses around Witness Gaming here. Connor trying to collapse onto Atten. Very good job. Witness Gaming ultimately coming out on top here.
Lau!
Oh, Lau! Oh, narrowly dodging that rocket. Tachyon, unfortunately, doesn't secure the kill onto Lau there. Lau, fantastic movement there. Silvo hitting a shot onto Robor to clean out that fight. And it's just Atten and Dork alive on BLG now.
I feel like as well, this Silvo's playing so well. He's just going back and forth, looking behind, and like, despite not known for combo scout, more of a flank scout, and not really known for main calling, I feel like he's just doing what he sort of can. I know it definitely, kind of restricts to what you want to do, but the plays that he's doing and these aggressive sort of, Ubers and the way they're posting is definitely working out. And as I said, though, another aggressive Uber comes out from the side of Witness Gaming.
18 and 2. Paulson took that one. Show me the... Paulson took that one as well. That's going to go down. Thank you, Paulson. Kill secured. Silvo brings down Robor and Trev on the backside of that. 20 and 2.
inside now again for the side of Witness Gaming, and yeah. I feel like if Cookie comes back and asks, "Oh, how's Grand Finals?" But I think what they're going to say is it was a 5-mapper and we had to put Silver on Combo Scout. That's what the conversation will be like. But no, he's doing an incredible job despite not known for it, and especially these point plays. Silver's edging points, so normally we're still on Bagel by the center. Would you see a sack wave come in, Lau?
Ooh, really good damage here,
my
Lau.
God,
Getting dropped down so low, down only on a single HP point. Gonna end up needing a few arrows there. Lau gonna wait for this health pack before he advances forward, and BLG down 2. Witness Gaming still have the point with a minute left on the clock right as BLG are spawning and ready to reaggress.
Oh.
Silvo is gonna hold this close. He's gonna hit a nice meat shot. He's gonna take the Uber. Tachyon's gonna fall. And potentially caught here. Anrith hitting really good damage. Silvo's gonna bring down Atten as well. Connor, he tries to get behind, but Robor and Trev, they're waiting, they're watching. They bring down Dork, and it's only Robor alive with Tachyon as a spawner. He's going to go for a quick play, tries to bring down Lau. He's going to bring down quite low, but Lau is going to quickly access that health pack that just spawned ready for him, and Witness Gaming still looking dominant in the second round.
Yeah, and again, 50 ad, or not 50, yeah, basically, yeah, 50 ad for them now, and yeah, they have Uber to just defend this point, and the BLG need to go for this. Obviously not expecting that really aggressive play by Silvo, and now, yeah, they're already getting some presence onto the objective there.
BLG, they do have a little bit of cap time here. They managed to trade out Connor for Trev, but they lose Robor and Atten in the process. Lau does go down to the sticks of Daz, so it's looking okay. Maybe Daz can pull something off here. They do have the point. Maybe they can stall this out a little bit. No,
oh my Daz.
Silvo, he's just on top of him. Daz hits so much damage, but ultimately Witness Gaming, they're here and they've arrived. They managed to cap this out with only 5 seconds left on the clock, and it's pretty rough. It's pretty
Oh my god.
rough.
Silver already has, yeah, 34. Yeah,
Silver is 30 and 2.
He's doing his best Nico impression right now. He's got the team on his back. He's in-game leading, he's main calling, he's killing. He's carrying the team now at this point, basically.
Yeah, and Lau gets to enjoy all the assists, racking up 19 assists already in this 2 rounds of Bagel going into the 3rd round now. Enrith trying to get some early spam off, getting 43 damage onto Atten. It's going to be a really good start to this fight. BLG have to deal with the fact that Tachyon needs to back up for a pack, and that might allow Witness Gaming to make a little bit more of an aggressive play here, waiting for some buffs before they take both houses. Connor, he's going to contest this pack on the right side, ends up trading with Tachyon, and Witness Gaming, they're going to end up getting an early point capture. Atten, he's forced to back out. Paulson is on his tail. Paulson brings him down. Silvo protecting Lau in the meantime. It's going to bring down Trev, bring down Robor, but not without losing Enrith. They're down 3 on the side of Witness Gaming with 2 of their soldiers, their 2 soldiers rather, arriving quickly as spawners. And BLG, they need to start playing a little bit more coordinated if they want to make their way back into this game.
I feel like Silver's going to call another really aggressive Uber, which looks like it's a chariot, and the Uber is getting definitely popped out by the side of Witness Gaming. Can they catch Atten? No, Atten is legging it for spawn, which he just lives, and Witness Gaming, unfortunately, no frags for them.
Oh, Tachyon, he's on top of Lau though. He brings down Lau. Silvo quickly responds, tries to bring down Tachyon, but he's too healthy. Silvo and Paulson both get dropped down very low. Trev, meanwhile, dies and down, hits a great bomb, bringing down both Atten and Tachyon. All players are dying here, only with Daz as a quick spawner. Enrith eventually dies to Robor.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, Lau getting caught in that exchange there. I mean, not sorry, exchange, caught in that Uber, aggressive Uber, sorry, that Silver called and getting caught out. Definitely not ideal, but
oh no, Robor and Dork both going to fall. That's not a good start for this fight for BLG. It's going to allow Paulson to just run into Trev here, and they're going to lose Daz as well. It's only Tachyon alive on 9 HP, ends up getting brought down by Down, and it's just Atten in sport.
Yeah,
Witness Gaming with the Uber advantage here.
An impromptu bit of a sack wave, but now Sheep is on his sniper class looking to see if there's anyone doing any forward holding here, and he actually committed to this now, so curious to see what picks he can get from this right hand side.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether there's a commitment out of strategic advantage, or rather just a tilt factor setting in. Maybe Tachyon and Trev both to go down here as Robot gets caught out by Silvo. Silvo mows up Daz as well, and it's only Atten and Dork alive right as they're getting Uber. Fortunately, though, it is Uber advantage. So Witness Gaming, although they've shown a very dominant performance so far, Silvo 38 and 3
Jesus
currently.
Christ, I'm looking at it now as well.
My God.
BLG, they're able to advance. They bring down and Paulson. Paulson caught out, and they do need to slow down BLG's advance at least a little bit. They don't have Uber on the side of Witness Gaming yet. They bring down Connor and Enrith. It's just Silvo and Lau. Not feeling that ambitious. Silvo building out the rest of the Uber with Lau at spawn, waiting for the players to spawn. And with 36 seconds on the clock for Witness Gaming, BLG have quite a clock to run down.
Yeah, and they also are coming up with Uber here, so at least both teams do have the Uber here, and I definitely do see exchange coming out at some
Ooh,
point.
Tachyon hitting some nice rockets, bring down Connor and doing a lot of damage to Paulson. Paulson's forced to back out. And Enrith also to fall. Robor hits a nice rocket onto Enrith, and ooh, maybe getting a pick onto Paulson here. He does bring down Paulson, but it ends up being a trade. Robor is to go down, but Lau dies to the sticky of Daz, who bombs in, tries to make a salvage play there. It ends up being successful. Connor and Enrith, the only two alive on Witness Gaming.
Yeah, bit of a scrappy sort of fight at the end there, unfortunately not coming out too well for the side of Witness Gaming here, and at least BLG still have point, and they also have a little bit of ads, so definitely can play off that, but now Witness Gaming going aggressive here, and already Paulson already edging the point, and Enrith still supporting behind with stickies.
Ooh, down, hitting some nice rockets, bringing down Tachyon. Going to be kiting around that health pack, at least for a little while. Witness Gaming not looking too hot right now, but they're coordinating some very good damage onto the side of BLG. It's only... Oh, never mind. Wow.
What? Yeah, okay.
Giving Robor that brain. Don't Google that. We are transitioning a little bit here to a forward odd. And Silvo, 42 and 4.
Yeah. And Uber as well on Witness Gaming, and this could be it for BLG here. Uber coming up, and they just use Uber defensively, and I think there should not be a struggle for them.
BLG, they are managing to cap this out. Emrith, he brings down Daz though. That's a really good start of the fight for Witness Gaming. Unfortunately, Daz's spawn has been denied by the fact that they do have Uber, and Tachyon lands on top of those players. Connor brings down Connor brings down Atten, and it's not looking good for Witness Gaming. They don't have the Uber charge here, but Silvo is forced to brawl with the rest of these BLG players. He brings down Robor and he's chasing down the remaining players. Dork being brought down to 20 HP, but Tachyon, he lands on top of Silvo and Lau, bringing them both down. Really clutch play by Tachyon there. And it's just Paulson and Down alive on the side of Witness Gaming. They're going to see what they can do to kite this out. Down sort of dancing around on this point, and it's going to be overtime for Witness Gaming despite wiping.
Yeah, very, very stagnant sort of play by Witness Gaming, but they delayed so much to the point where now overtime is being forced on their end. BLG cannot let them now cap the point. Obviously, Atten actually having a little bit of Uber ad, but however, Witness Gaming already edging the point.
Yep, Witness Gaming getting some early cap time here. A little bit of a brawl on the right side here. Robor, he actually brings down Enrith with the spoon. Manages to surf that rocket. Daz brings down Silvo and Lau. Down and Paulson are also going to fall. Really clutching that fight up without the use of an Uber. Sheep. I don't know what to tell you apart from the fact that he somehow got behind the soldier there and was able to bring down Enrith with an insane spoon.
Yeah,
only 10 seconds now on the clock. Witness really need to pull something together here as BLG has point control. Down, hitting some nice rockets, brings down Sheep at the very start of this fight. That could be the opening Witness Gaming need as they have a little bit of cap time here. BLG, they pull the Uber out. Witness Gaming, they don't have an Uber to use in return, so they do need to kite things out a little bit here. Trev and Daz both being dropped down quite low during the course of that Uber charge, but it's only Enrith and Lau still alive. Daz trying to hit some damage here, and they just sand Atten in. Atten gives Enrith the brain, and Lau is also to fall. That's going to be potentially the first round going the way of BLG. Yeah, and it is.
Great clutch as well by them. Obviously, Atten coming with the Uber before they're able to hold point, and finally BLG able to reply with a round of their own, and obviously not making a 3-0 roll for the side of Witness Gaming here. So, yeah, really, really good recovery by the side of BLG, and now at least they're one round up. Well, sorry, they're still 2 rounds down, but they're good to see what they can do on this new mid.
Let's see if BLG can make the comeback of the century here. Down, match point by Witness Gaming. Witness Gaming are really going to have to suppress the protagonist energy that's coming out of BLG right now as Enrith, he's going to do his best to prevent BLG's advance. Robor being dropped down quite low, being forced to back off and get a arrow, maybe a health pack. Enrith hitting a nice pipe onto Trev there, being dropped down to 2 HP, ends up dying, unfortunately. And Witness Gaming, that's a really good start to their fight. They lose Silvo, but they do gain Daz in return. Let's see what they can do here with Connor on only 1 HP, brings down Tachyon, and down brings down Atten. So, all things considered, pretty good fight for Witness Gaming. Being able to be there to bring down Atten where it matters. And now, BLG, despite being at full Uber disadvantage, they do have quite a considerable amount of cap time here. They're going to go for a play onto Lau. Lau's getting brought down really low. Dork finally gets that drop. Lau milking that to no end. Really no harm in using there. I mean,
yeah,
but
I mean, it's got 14, like his teams are trying to kill him and surround him, so that's definitely just a bit of a beef, I feel like, from this game, just to kill Dork.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay, because in the moment you want to extend those advantages as much as you can, so it's understandable why you would want to milk there. That said, BLG, they still haven't captured the point, so 45 seconds have already run down the clock on Witness Gaming. Really a worrying start to this 4th round by BLG. And Daz, he's going to be sitting on the point here, seeing what damage he can do, sort of rotating around Nipple here, facing Enrith on either side as Silvo is going to bring down Trev. Connor is going to try and land on top of the combo. He brings down Atten. And it's only Daz alive. Connor doing a really good job there at coordinating that attack onto Atten as he's backing up through main.
Silver just denied pulse. I don't know if I was delivered or not, but anyway. I mean, Uber coming up now as well for WG, so for Witness Gaming, sorry, so now they can at least hold, go for this forward hold, which they are, but now I feel like the Silver want to go for a really aggressive push, or, ooh, Leon 99%, he just lives, my god!
So close there, he does finally get the Uber charge out, but 3 players on BLG are going to fall. Daz is enough to force out the Uber, and yeah, that's going to mean that Witness Gaming, although losing their Uber, are going to be maintaining this forward hold position. BLG coming into this with about 60% Uber ad. They're going to get their players through bottom right pretty quickly here. And Witness Gaming, they're respecting that advance from BLG. They're playing a little bit of title TF2 here, allowing BLG to get the space. And with full Ubrad on BLG, Witness Gaming, they want to do something to prevent them from using it aggressively. Connor, fantastic coordination there on behalf of the soldiers on the side of Witness Gaming, and the collapse of Paulson manages to bring down Atten. Atten trying to hit that clutch surf through house, ends up getting brought down. Fantastic play by them.
Yeah, Atten as well, just trying to defend and milk for his life there, and obviously, unfortunately, getting taken out with that Uber. But now at least mission accomplished. Witness Gaming do a Uber. However, though, Sheep or Robot in a really, really sneaky position in this sort of main area hasn't been cleared as of yet, and I think you can hear them on this. No, they've already pushed out. Sorry, they're very missed timing, but yeah.
Ooh, Daz is going for something here. He gets a pipe onto Lau. Lau goes down. An insane sack by Daz there. What a player. Did you see him flick his mouse like that?
That's just Daz demo for you, just flicking crazily, but it's still
and
hits,
they're just collapsing
now.
onto Witness now. Robor's the only one to go down after Daz has already spawned.
At least they get Atten though, that's always good. Atten's dead at least, so that's good, and now Witness Gaming do have at least, I'd say, probably going to close 20 ad, at least till 25. So at least they get Atten despite loud dropping, so not at the end of the world, but the point is lost.
Yeah, we'll have to see whether this 30 advantage is going to matter here as BLG waiting for their heals to spawn before they can re-advance, but Witness, they're already taking space. They're already advancing on the ground, and they're already starting the cap time. Tachyon, he's going to send it in. He's going to bring down Silvo, and Connor, Paulson are both going to die. Tachyon's the only one to fall, and Trev brings down Lau. Trev spins around through main, brings down Enrith as well, and Dork pistols down the remaining players on Witness Gaming. Just fantastic work there. 46 seconds left on the clock, and It might be the reverse sweep, Ghost.
It could be. I mean,
I can see it.
If Witness Gaming lose with Silvo on basically 50 kills almost, I would be questioning some decisions, but though Witness Gaming are now going aggressive.
Looking for this house fight, brings down Paulson. They're able to advance. They bring down, and Trev is also going to fall. Connor, fortunately there, manages to collapse. Robor is not able to stay alive behind them. Tachyon brings down Enrith. 4 down on the side of Witness Gaming, back to the drawing board. BLG waiting for their players to respawn again before they are able to make much more of a stink. Down, jumping down onto Daz, and he is going to fall. Tachyon? Yeah, it's not looking good for BLG here. I can understand the play where they're trying to keep up that aggression, but unfortunately they just lose too many players trying to keep that up. Witness Gaming, they're able to maintain the cap time during this overtime period and recap very soon as Connor is respawned to send this minute down.
Silvo has had an incredible game, but now at least Witness Gaming, thank God, have managed to get the point, and also have Uber, so at least they have Uber to defend it with.
Enrith, Uber is popped out. Atten, he's potentially caught here. He is. Enrith completely shreds him with the use of stickies, and Dork is also to fall. That said, Trev and Tachyon bring down and Paulson, and Robor's the only other casualty on the side of BLG. That said, Tachyon, he's landing on top of Lau, brings down Lau, and Daz and Tachyon are both down.
And Spawns as well.
Pretty rough.
Be a little bit better
3
for
alive
BLG.
on the side of Witness Gaming. BLG aren't quite able to contest the point here. We might see a double overtime situation unless BLG are able to get to the point quite soon. Looks like the cap is going to start here. They do really need to push back Witness Gaming if they're hoping to cap this out. They bring down, and Connor is also going to fall. They recap it, and the reverse sweep is still alive.
This is getting down to the wire, and my God, Silvo is 50 kills now deep into this game, and if they were to lose in such a fashion, it's so unfortunate. But yeah, final round match and map series point for either one of these teams. Upset is definitely on the horizon now.
Enrith, he's doing his best to claw back this game. Dork takes a lot of damage at the start of that fight. At the start of this mid-fight, but it's looking pretty intense. Witness Gaming, they need to pull something together here to prevent the BLG from stealing this game away from Silver. I mean, 50-14. They do manage the first cap, but Trev, Robor, both getting dropped down really weak. Robor is going to fall, and Trev forced to pick up this health pack. They do collapse on Connor and Paulson, though. It's looking okay for BLG. They are able to recap it when Witness have only drained 15 seconds. Witness, that said, are going to try recapping almost immediately here, despite being down 2 players, waiting for them as spawners. BLG going to allow Witness Gaming to get some space here, trying to stand on top of the point, trying to deny the recap. They bring down Dork as they cap it out. Ooh, this is pretty dodgy though. Robor is going to fall to Paulson and down in that side house. And Tachyon's also going to fall to Silvo. Witness Gaming trying to keep up their aggression here with that cap onto point. Looks like they're transitioning into a forward hold considering BLG are down 2.
And able to as well, the forward hold's going to delay BLG even longer to get this point. Obviously holding really close, just spamming them, trying to not let them go through either side. But as I say though, Witness Gaming slowly just getting back a little bit.
Oh my God, that trap actually worked. I don't believe it. Emrith brings down Robor with that trap on the lip of that roof there. He's going to set it up again, see if it works twice. A really wonderful trap there. Enrith showing his creativity here. Even Uber's maintaining this forward hold. They do understand that BLG do have Uber here, though. They are going to just use it directly out onto patio. Daz is going to send it deep, see if he can collapse. Lau's going to end up forcing the Uber, but Daz is going to fall. Tachyon is going to try and do something here. He brings down Connor, but unfortunately, it's not all that fruitful. As Witness Gaming, they do lose Lau. It's only Atten alive now. They're going to see what they can do, chasing him down. He does go down. Paulson picking up some frags here, allowing Witness Gaming to keep the clock, running it down still, 1:20 left.
Yeah, I mean, Atten dying there late, is actually good for Witness Gaming despite losing Lau really early. So now they actually have slight ad, but there, BLG trying to get retake onto the point there, but Witness Gaming not allowing any presence for BLG at all. Already getting the point there, and Silvo just dancing around but gets taken out.
Oh, Enrith hitting a great pipe onto Daz. Going to open this fight really well, but Dork and Robor and Trev, they collapse onto the Witness Gaming combo, allowing BLG to recapture, but not without losing Atten and Daz. Trev only down to 4 HP. Silvo's the only spawner Witness Gaming has so far. Waiting for their heals before they can decide to reaggress here. Atten, unfortunately down for the count, is going to mean that Witness Gaming is going to have a slight amount of advantage here.
Yeah, already aggressing into mid as well, and then Loud panking Silver trying to edge the point here, and then Enrith is just trying to carve.
Robo is in on top of Lau. He hits a great rocket bouncing Lau towards him and finishes off that kill. Really effective there, and he's still alive to tell the tale. He ends up requiring all of Witness Gaming to backtrack, deal with these players who've slipped behind, and now Witness Gaming, they don't have much health on their team. They need to sort of rotate around Lau a little bit here as Dork and Daz, they are very safe with Atten. They are more than comfortable to sort of chill out here, see if they can edge out this point, and Witness Gaming, they're facing a potentially devastating Uber advantage here as the BLG players are already arriving at the fight. Paulson, he tries to get a kill onto Trev. He does. He succeeds, and Robor quickly turns that into a trade. That said, Daz hits a fantastic pipe onto Enrith, and that's going to give them a player advantage here as BLG continuing to rock down the time here. We are very close to the Premier Grand Final ending.
Almost there.
It's all in these next few fights. Daz, he's going to lay down as many stickies as he can here to prevent the advance of Witness Gaming. They are going to sneak up a little bit of cap time here. They will cap it out. Robor gets dropped down really weak, so clearly they're not keen on aggressing. But Paulson, that is an awful death. That's going to allow BLG to recapture there, and BLG, they can hold this ground a little bit longer than they thought they were able to. BLG showing dominance here by sort of trading this point back and forth. Down. Going to look for a little bit of a fight here as the trade is going out through right house, and he's going to... There's going to be a player just absolutely launched into down. He's going to try and reaggress through this right side, but Witness Gaming, a lot of their players are falling low. They do manage to get this kill onto Daz. That could be absolutely crucial for the rest of this game. Oh my god, Robot just hit a nuts rocket onto Enrith. What on earth?
The fight finally over as well.
Unfortunately, it's not enough, because Witness Gaming do manage to recapture that with only 25 seconds left on the clock. BLG, they need to make a play, and they need to make a play now. Witness Gaming, they're approaching Uber advantage, so they need to break out a dry fight here soon enough. They're going to make it through patio here. Witness Gaming are trying to give them all the space, hoping to get their Uber very soon, aware that they have Uber advantage. But BLG, they need to step on the gas here. They do manage to recap it with only 30 seconds left. They trade out demos here. Tachyon's going to do so much damage. Unfortunately, they are going to lose Trev. With BLG with the point, it's really awkward here as they have the longest spawns. Despite being down Enrith and trading out their soldiers like we just saw, it's not looking good for BLG. They end up losing Robor, and Witness Gaming, they're able to sit on top of the point. If they don't get any cap time here, they are in a lot of trouble, and it's going to go Witness Gaming's direction, but there was only a hair in it.
Witness Gaming scrape. Oh my god, just scraped through, and my god, what a game on Bagel. And that is your Season 42 champions in Premier, and a little bit of fun talk in chat, which I can't say, but I already have the logs up. I'm not sure if our production is very quick with it. But, my god, like people saw, Silver had the team on his back. Holy! 62
and 15, dropping the 420 DPM.
This guy is actually one-man army. He had this literally is like, he's basically just, he's Nico. He's just carrying the team. He's killing stuff. He's got the team on his back. But I guess the role switch, to be honest, sort of paid off and put Silver onto Combo Scout. Definitely not his preferred role, yes, I'll say. But at the end of the day, if it works, it works. And dropping 62 kills, I think he deserves that.
Yep, undeniably so, going 62 and 15. I don't think I've seen a log like that in quite some time, almost doubling the Dorks kills who got 37. Like it's just an immense amount of impact coming out of all of the players on Witness Gaming. Enrith pumping out so much damage there, really preventing BLG from walking forward. And that said, BLG, Tachyon and Robor were able to get away with absolute murder for so much of that game. I really thought that we were going to see a reverse sweep. But fortunately, classic Witness Gaming fashion, just like Land Down Under 2024, they prevent the reverse sweep from happening.
They pull it back. I mean, Tachyon and Silvo, man, with their bombs as well, it's like Tachyon's damage, despite dying, I think, like 37 times, but the amount of impact he had was insane. Like, he was getting picks when need be, just following up on what needs to do, or going for these plays with sheep, just double bombing and just combining their damage. But I guess the big thing is there's nothing you can do when Silvo is having a game, basically a game of his life, 62 kills. But overall, I mean, the game, definitely very close. BLG almost went for the reverse sweep. Everyone in the server showing up, I'll say, on both sides, definitely.
Yeah, we saw fantastic plays coming out of all of these players. I want to commend Trev especially for always keeping up with the aggression being dictated by Robor and Tachyon. It felt as though whenever they weren't able to execute a play purely off of the damage their soldiers can do, Trev was always there, able to clean things up. And I mean, you really have to hand it to BLG. They put up such a fight in this grand final and really forced Witness to prove that even when they're murking someone, they are still the dominant force in this region. They're still able to pull things together, even against the other insanely, I suppose, effective team. I don't know. I'm pretty tired, Ghost. That was a long series.
It was a long series, long night. I mean, I was meant to have dinner. I now had not had it. I'll have it later now. It's all good. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, a win's a win, and Witness Gaming have come out just barely. And look, I think they should be quite happy as well about, you know, not having one of their key players. Definitely, I feel like mental is definitely one thing to talk about, but also, I guess, what's next is, I guess, preparation for Denverland. I'll be honest with you, it's probably the thing on their mind. I guess probably take a little bit of a break, and then I guess they'll probably full steam ahead for LAN preparation, which is actually almost coming. It's like in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, and what better break to take than to play a little bit of Ulti Duo? Of course, the ozfortress Ulti Duo one-day tournament is coming up quite soon. A huge amount of teams have signed up. I believe we hit our 48 teams, but it has been extended, so we are probably looking at 5 divisions, which is going to be absolutely hectic. So I hope you guys are able to sign up for Ulti Duo if you haven't already. And speaking of sign-ups, Land Down Under 2025, there are still some spectator tickets available. It's not until July, and we're selling out of tickets fast. So I expect if you guys haven't gotten a spectator ticket already, that you jump on that opportunity, !LAN in chat. You can use that link to get any remaining spectator tickets if you don't already have one. Ghost, any shout outs?
I mean, I guess shout out, obviously, thank you, Mitch, and our production team. Obviously, thank you, Wheels, for jumping in every now and then. Obviously, thank you, Tao, as well, for casting with me tonight. And obviously, thanks to the teams for an amazing game. And obviously, congratulations to Witness Gaming as your season of 42 champions. And unfortunately, commiserations for BLG, but a stellar effort from them, nevertheless.
Yeah, wonderful work. It was wonderful to see both of these teams turn out and give us a best of 5 that really proves that all of these players here we saw tonight are worth their salt. So thank you guys so much for watching. We hope to see you very soon with some more TF2 coverage from CappingTV. And in the meantime, keep playing the game, keep loving the game, keep the community alive. Awesome.
Good night.
See you guys very, very soon.